If you're a newer viewer, on the days where we have the FOMC meeting, the Wednesday, not the Tuesday, obviously, we throw over to the big boys, Neil and Sean, about 15 minutes early. They go through things, exactly kind of what to expect, how the market, just market reactions and how to adjust for that and plan for that and everything like that. So we're gonna send you over to the big boys. Thank you, Sia. A bit of a short segment today, but we had Luis on Wednesdays, and that's always a bit shorter there.
That's all right. It was great.
Thank you, Sia, for that. All right. Shout out to Luis is calling XTLB, guys. Luis just called out XTLB, so maybe we can just quickly look at that one before we send it over to the big boys. See what he's saying. XTLB. Is that the one that I was at? Oh, my Lanta, as Joseph would say. I was asking, Assassino. I was asking Luis about this one short. This one just rocketed up into 487. That gives it a new high of day, guys. XTLB up 90%. And that's well off the 487. That's 50 pennies off that high. Be careful trading this one. As you can see, it's got a lot of topping tail candles, and that doesn't happen by accident. So keep your eye out on that. Joey, anything you want to leave him with?
No, let's look forward to JP's final words here, isn't it? So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what he has to say, what the market's going to do.
I'm gonna miss him.
Are you?
Yeah, I am, man. I haven't known a market since I've been in the market without Jerome Powell. I haven't known a market without him.
But Sharif, we're just data dependent, though.
Yeah, I think that's everybody's favorite line from him, right?
Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, he's doing his job, man. Yeah, he's doing his job. I think he could have definitely done some things better. But
that's hindsight, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, when you look things back.
I'm not going to hate on him. I know President Trump hates on him.
Yeah.
Calls him too late and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I think he is too late. Yeah, he is. But you don't have to crap on him all the time, right?
It's not necessarily strategic, but more or less data dependent. JP, nonetheless, Mr. Transitory, absolutely. Nonetheless, guys. All right, let's do this thing. Guys, be patient. A lot of that volatility. Stephanie's going to be talking around 2:30. Ooh, okay. All right, then. So be patient. Allow things to settle down a little bit, and sure enough, you'll be able to find some opportunities post that. So looking forward to some things.
Peace. I should have done that.
All right, welcome, everybody. Buckle up. You know what you're going to hear in about 10 to 12, well, in 12 minutes. Can't say 10 to 12. You know exactly when it's going to be, right? In 12 minutes or just underneath 12 minutes, you're going to hear from probably Adara. Yeah, it'll be Adara. And she will say no change. And then everything will go crazy, or maybe not, we'll see. Obviously, hey, we're actually ticking a little bit lower. And look, well, actually, you know what? I think it was just because USO was actually turning around. So we're still gonna care about what's going on. Oil futures have been strong all day. That's been weighing on the market. If they can pull back, that's certainly, look at the pullback right there. That's certainly going to help
the wrong
things.
Thing at the bottom.
But that's what we got to pay attention to. We know it's going to be no change. Powell's going to come for the last time. Powell is going, well, in theory, the last time. Powell is going to be doing his Q&A. How much do we care about his views? Is it going to make that big of a difference? I'm not expecting that him on the podium is going to be as wild as usual, but you never know. So we'll keep it tight to the vest. Let's go up to Adara, get a bit of a review going into it. I'm looking at SLV. Keep an eye on the dollar. Keep an eye on oil futures. Keep an eye on the Qs. Should be an interesting one.
Yeah, what might not be so interesting or rather exciting here is going to be the FOMC decision. Now, here's again a recap of last decision, 11-1 vote not to change rates. We are expecting another vote not to change rates. Sorry, this just dropped because I was having some Google Chrome issues. But basically, guys, what's happening here is we are very likely, once again, as Neil mentioned, 100% chance here on the CME FedWatch tool, rates are going to be held exactly in place. We might get Fed's Myron voting to cut, as he has been for the last number of meetings, but very likely that the end decision is going to be to hold these in place. You will see me again in roughly 10 minutes at 1:59 p.m. and we'll go over these numbers live. As Neil mentioned here, we're not really going to be expecting anything other than a rate hold today. I will go over any other things we could be expecting from this call or the conference rather, once we get closer to that number. But again, guys, 2 p.m., 1:59 p.m., I'll probably see you guys again to go over these numbers and what we're expecting right before the numbers come out. Back to you.
Thanks, Adara. Yeah, I mean, we aren't expecting much, so that's the whole thing. So surprise. We'll wait to see what winds up happening. Oh, we do have that I'm short the NASDAQ right here, but maybe not for very long. I mean, we came up into the 200 period. We've been shorting here, so we're just at the 200 period. If we break through 30, which may happen pretty soon, we're going to get out of it. That's part of the playbook for trading, is you don't want to be in anything too heavily as we approach the close, right? And as we approach, the Fed announcement there at 2 o'clock. So now you're about just 10 minutes away. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And we already sort of gone over this, and this is the expected decision, 100% of no change. But that's not the exciting part, right? The exciting part is waiting to hear exactly what Fed Chair Powell has to say. His last time on the podium, and here we go. We're gonna get stopped out. It's only 10 cents worth of a hit, and there it goes. In a couple of seconds, there it goes. Breaks 30 into 31. So we'll get stopped out on that last little bit. That's fine. I mean, we don't want to be into a position heading into the Fed, right? So stopped out right there. We'll just see what that wording is like. 2:30 is when we come on the podium. NASDAQ, nice little battle back today. I mean, yesterday down about 1%. Today back up 1/4%, as well as we try to break. I mean, we were just trying to short it to VWAP, short it into that 200 period moving average right there. And, you know, this is why you have tight stops. I mean, you're going to get wicked out a little bit using less shares, just playing around there. It would suck if it all of a sudden tanked, but really no reason to do that heading into the Fed. I mean, if we look at what the dollar has been doing right now as well here today, something to consider when you're trading the Fed. Downside right here, so nice downside move, creating the NASDAQ with that upside push. So NASDAQ down, NASDAQ up, dollar down. We'll see if that remains true. And again, if we're 100% expecting no rate cut, I mean, if we actually get a cut or a raise, the market's going to go insane. But for right now, the market is definitely, everything you're seeing right now, there should nothing really change at 2 p.m. unless, as Adara said, we get a different number of dissents that we're expecting, or I don't know. We'll wait to hear. At the end of the day, Adara will announce that there's no change, and then we'll be able to see what's going on with some of these names.
The laggard has been the Russell's been lagging.
Apple.
So I think that could get interesting if for some reason we get like super bullish from Powell. I don't know. I'm not really thinking that's necessarily going to be the case, but I think that's the place. Like, I would look at the IWM because it has the most catch up. I'm in an SLV trade, and it just comes down to this. I was in this one in the middle of the day and talking about when USO made that big turn and then shorting off of VWAP, and then I missed this chance, and I just looked at it and said, well, okay, I'd normally do this. I can have a relatively tight stop. If it comes back into the trend line and rejects, I want to try and scalp it short, and then I have an easy out if it breaks the trend. So I'm going to tighten my stop up, which, I mean, I do anyways. If we break this trend line, I'm not automatically reversing here because I don't want to overreact to anything that happens in 7 minutes or 6.5 minutes. I feel when we're expecting somewhat of a less maybe impactful statement, overreacting to the first move could sort of get you trapped. So if I felt bearish on silver before, I don't want to completely change my tone if it does something technical like push right into the open range high, which is a prior day support level. I'd still want to look for a short there, ultimately. And by the way, Intel is $93.50. Let's just get this out of the way. We'll talk about a lot of symbols today. And Intel, 10.5%, absolute rocket. It wasn't even like a specific catalyst here.
No, it wasn't too much.
No, it's just been an absolute runner. Like, you juxtapose this with what's going on. I just saw someone in the chat mentioning it. You're up 3% on AMD, and AMD's chart looks pretty powerful too. I'm not discounting anything that's going on over in AMD, but this is just built differently right now in Intel. The four short worked for me, but the entire difference between actually getting back everything was complete and utter greed and breaking a rule. I even said to myself, when I'm shorting this high, there's an all-day trend line. If it doesn't break it, you've got to get out of the short. So I took half out and then still left a break-even stop to make nothing on this, effectively on the short. And then the second time it did it, I'm like, no, just get it all out when it goes to the 92 level. This stock has been going ham. We'll watch this for sure in the afternoon. But like, it should have been good enough. It should have been 2 for 4 in green, but it's 1 for 4. And Intel, it's a beast. It's very different from a lot of the other chip names. I'm sure we'll cover it. I don't know how much the market's going to love Big Papa. I can't call him Big Papa Pump. There were times we'd come into Fed Day and it's like, okay, we got Big Papa Pump coming in here. I'm not feeling that way today, Sean.
No, I mean, he's been. I mean, the market's going to go out at all-time highs when he's involved. So I think he's pretty much Big Papa Pump for me. I mean,
Okay.
I'm pretty happy with the way he's been performing. We only have 4 minutes now. Watching out for IBIT. I mean, Bitcoin 76,000. Still not doing a whole heck of a lot there today. I mean, IBIT, we tried to go long. We did well on IBIT. IBIT is going to be still my top stock. But there it is, IBIT, good little level there until it broke. And, going short right there was the key thing. The tricky trade for me today was Apple because, we were long, and then we were just taking position when that's 11.20, so you guys didn't even see that trade. That comes in a little bit out, and then eventually we broke less. All right, PS has now opened, so we can find out where that one goes through right here. So the tap, I'm not even sure where this thing opened up at. Opened $24. Not moving at all, literally not moving at all. PSUS is the other name. Oh, that opened too. So both these IPOs going lower right now, nothing going on at all. This one opens at 42 and down to 41 and change as Bill Ackman right here not getting too much action right away off the open. But there's PSUS with a crazy spread of about $1 right there. Opens up at 42. It was looking at 50 at one point. But then it was a little bit funny because it was a share. One is the asset management group, and then one is the actual holdings. So PSUS is the investment fund. PS is the management firm. So that's what I was saying. There's really not that much going on here. Only 730,000 shares there. And then PSUS, a little bit more. But still, if you got to 42, which is your opening price, you're not super thrilled right now. It's you'd be down about $1. And,
thanks, Bill.
Trying to go a little lower right here. So look out below right now as Pershing Square is now open. And it's funny, you get open and the biggest size is on the ask. Like that does not normally happen there. So it's like, okay, we're open, good, perfect time to sell.
That's the opposite of what you
so I bet you that's Bill Ackman himself. Trying to sell right there at $41. But that where we're open now, and to not much avail, we just want to talk about it.
Icon trying to sell.
Yeah, it was. We've done some things on IPOs, and this one did get a good road show. I mean, we were talking about PS and PSU for a minute this week, and then we talked about it this morning, but it just doesn't look like the volume's really there. 750,000 in the first couple minutes. It's only been open 3 minutes, so not huge for an IPO, but there's PS and PSUS. I don't know enough about either one of these to tell you, like, one of them is a buy and one of them isn't. But we'll just have to wait to see how they trade. Okay, man. I mean, 2 minutes away. We will get some sort of an action trade here right away as soon as it's announced. I'm going to try to go short again on the TQs because we did get stopped at the high, and then it just kind of fell right back in. So I'll try against this level again. I'm just going to wait at 30s. If we get a short, we'll stop out at 40 right there if we do break, and then we'll just let it go after that. But just going to trade it light, see if we get a reaction trade from it. But 1 minute away. We can go to Adair in about 30 seconds, and she's already sort of set us up for this. We are not expecting any change, 350 to 375, the overnight lending rate. And then we'll watch, maybe the dollar is going to be a better trade possibly. Or we can look at, let's just have a quick look at gold before this number comes out. Just to get a good idea of what gold's at. Right now, -1. Okay, so you're down 1% on GLD. We'll check back on that as we get ready to open up. So now we have 30 seconds left. We'll go to Adair, then we'll come back over here and we'll find out if anything's actually moving.
Yeah, President Trump also set to start speaking right now, so competing a little bit with Jerome Too Late Powell on his last day with the Feds. Be aware we could be getting Trump comments as well. What we're waiting for here is this U.S. interest rate decision. Again, guys, at 2 p.m., so in now just 18 seconds, we are widely expecting the Fed to hold rate steady for the month of April. They did the same in the month of March as well, so we are expecting this hold. Again, just 9 seconds now, 3.75% forecast. Prior print, 3.75%. We're going to get the rate statement as usual, but no SEP or Summary of Economic Projections. And we're just waiting for this number to come through, waiting to see this populate. Give me a moment here, guys. No change. 3.75%. No change here for the Fed. Market pushing back a little bit here. These cues again as we get, as expected, no change. I'm going to be waiting to see if and when we get this rate statement. Back to you.
So a little lucky here as we get a little bit of a downside push in the market right there. We'll cover half of our position and just wait to see what's going on. They said, I'm hearing it in my ears, 11-1 Fed funds rate, 11-1 vote. Miran, you're right, Adara, that's the one dissent. So 11-1 right now. They have not considered any sort of adjustment to this, extended time on the adjustment right now. So it doesn't look like they're getting close to, that 9-month thing may be right, and the Fed rate funds tool does not disappoint again. But we're not going to disappoint, and we're going to get some more out right now of this trade. And there it is, a couple more outs here. As it's crazy because we got stopped out right there, but that was a little bit of jiggle. We take that trade again, and there it goes back down to the downside. So here we go. Balance of risks, lots of stuff going on. What's up, Adara?
Sean, I don't think this was 11-1. I'm seeing this vote was 8-4. To hold rates. Okay. So this is pretty significant. We had one person in favor of a rate cut. Looks like we could have had, as far as I'm seeing, as many as 3 votes against easing the bias. We're going to have to wait and see what's happening here. I am seeing a couple people say, though, that we could have had a 8-4 cut. Going to wait until I see the statement to comment further. But this, I'm seeing 8-4 by a couple sources. Yeah,
that's fine. I was just repeating everything we heard in our ears. Yeah. So we heard 11-1, but 8-4 is fine. I mean, either way, the market is doing what it's doing right now. And that's not a whole heck of a lot. So there it is, man, back and forth right now. We're just going to get that back from Adara, like any sort of key points, any strike throughs on the wording or anything like that definitely will have an effect. Miss Adara again.
So, yeah, it's 8-4, but it's kind of weird. I've never actually seen this before. So you did have only one member actually voting against the decision, which was, of course, to hold rates. Fed's Myron, only person here who voted in favor of a 25 basis point cut. So everyone else, technically speaking, voted to hold rates. So in that way, it was an 11-1 vote. However, we had 3 Feds, Hammock, Kashkari, and Logan, who voted against including an easing bias in the statement. So the idea that we could get more rate cuts or any rate cuts going forward. So we've got 3 very, very hawkish Feds in the overall Fed. And again, one Fed who's very dovish continued. So that's why they're saying this is 8-4, because again, like, we only had one person actually vote against the decision, but 3 others voted against a very key part of the wording that I do think actually matters here. Other comments from this statement that characterizing inflation as elevated. Before they said somewhat elevated, so I guess they're seeing more inflation concerns right now. They now said there's a high level of uncertainty about the economic outlook with regards to the Middle East, economic activity expanding at a solid pace, job gains remaining low. They had no signals in terms of when rates will be changed next, as they usually do. But again, market dropping here, as I mentioned, 3 very hawkish Fed opinions here, guys. Back to you.
Hawkish. Loft just said, someone in the chat was like, Fed Powell is a patron saint for the Bears. He's not Big Papa Pump anymore, but it's not going to matter if he is. I stopped break even on this SLV because I had to stop in there. I was like, if it tweaks, then I'll just get out, but I'm going to jump back in on the trend as long as it's a pop. We didn't expect anything too crazy, but if it was a Fed day, I'm always going to tighten the stop at 2 o'clock, and then sometimes it runs, and then we'll try to get back in on the trend to the downside. IBIT, or Bitcoin, I should say, just tick lower, so you're seeing a little bit of weakness in there. Oil futures are coming higher, which I think might also be weaker for the markets. Not that it matters, but you are pushing higher and bouncing off some support in USO. That's not going to help things. I mean, we're sliding to the downside before, so I'm just going to jump back into SLV. And we got a super chat. I actually think we had another one. Dia? Hi, bosses, the greatest show, the greatest people. Thank you so much. Jordanian dinars. And the reason I know that is because you sent a super chat earlier.
Yep, yesterday.
Was it yesterday or this morning?
I think it was yesterday. The JODs came through. I mean, by the way, we got to, I'm going to watch over there. Oh, I got to get an update. Yeah, so there it is, man, just covering again. And this is how you're supposed to trade for me anyways, and that is like, you take small hits and we take bigger wins. So there it is right there, man, coming right back in. So it's a good trade on the TQs for now. I mean, I was just, we thought it as expected, and it's just, we got some dancing around, a little bit of excitement heading into the Fed there. I don't know, that 8-4 doesn't really surprise me any bit there. The move down, I think it's time to cover. I mean, we've been covering on the way down now. I only have a third left, so we'll see if that winds up making these new lows, but only a third left. Not much of a problem here as we just continue to see if there is a little bit of a whoosh action. Maybe we get someone saying something that we don't agree with or that the market doesn't. Let's go over to Adair and find out what's going on.
Yeah, I have some more here on, again, an 8-4 vote for the Fed. We had a 9-3 vote at the end of last year, but 8-4, quite significant here. And I believe our 7th straight FOMC meeting with a dissenting vote, at least one dissenting vote. So again, major things they're changing here. They're saying that job gains have remained low. They added on average, which could be significant here. They also said inflation remains elevated, not remains elevated, sorry. They said inflation is elevated. Prior statement was remains somewhat elevated. So definitely, I guess, showing that this inflation concern is here for now. They said that, however, this does in part reflect the recent increase in global energy prices. So more inflation concerns, but also more qualified inflation concerns. Also adding the statement about developments in the Middle East, contributing to a high amount of economic outlook. And then, of course, the major change here at the end involves the 4 dissenting Fed members. Back to you.
Which apparently is the most dissent since 1992. Good to know, but it does show some uncertainty there. And if they're not unified, the market likes confidence. The market likes confidence. The market likes certainty. That just creates less certainty. The war creates less certainty. Earnings tonight create less certainty because we're right back to square one, and which was nobody feeling. Well, I shouldn't say the market's not feeling too good about today, going into what should be one of the most important earnings. I don't want to say the most important earnings day. It's pretty close.
I'll say it's the most important earnings day, in my opinion. I don't think you won't get a bigger one. That's for sure.
I think what ends up happening today is you get so much of the hyperscalers. It's not so much what their numbers are tonight, as opposed to what the CapEx spend is going to be and what the tone from the calls are going to be. That's gigantic. How the actual earnings go for Meta and Google and Microsoft might not matter as much as how much they continue to spend. Grunfeld, Dick Cheney is back. Hal on the weekly chart breaking key 41.32 high from 2023 today. War and oil, you're long. Like some oil names, and they've been fantastic.
Market just made a move there. Yeah,
there was just a bit of a
move right there on.
There was a little move in USO.
We're just about to get covered up there at 90s, and then it makes a move up. So takes them out there at 61 on the way back upside. But no problem, man. You know, we're just in the chill zone right now. Been having a great day. We'll just sit here and chill and relax and wait to see. There's that big spike up, man. 61.13. We talked about how volatile these decisions could be, and you know, So it's 8-4 with 1 dissent. So that means the other 3 what? They wanted to raise rates. I mean,
no. So they wanted to hold rates in place, but they disagreed with the language of the statement. So the language of the statement was, I guess, an easing bias. They did not want any easing bias. So that's actually hawkish. You had 1 dovish dissent and 3 hawkish dissents, but not for raises, just like they didn't want to get people's hopes up about cuts, basically.
Right, yeah, okay. So there you go. So I guess it was 11-1 on that side of it.
That's the thing, it was 11-1.
Yeah, there's only one that voted other than keep rates the same. Right. But as Adair said, there was some dissent there in the wording and things like that. So we'll have to wait. There it goes.
That's so
yeah, let's go. There we go, man. This is what we're talking about. Boom, shakalaka-laka. He's on fire. There goes the TQs to the downside. So, I mean, we're just watching this start to bleed down. So that's all good, man. This is kind of what we had thought about. We said that we could try to get something out near these lows. So we just get hit right there at 85. We could put our next, we only had a third left. So we could have, it's too bad that move happened because we did get a piece out there, which we didn't really want to. I didn't even have these 2 bids until that happened. So now we'll have to let's just be a little more greedy here. Let's wait for something like this into the 70s. So mid 70s, we'll put another bid. And then if it continues to go down, then we'll be here for it. So nice little play to the downside right now on the NASDAQ, and we're here for that. So there goes the short. We put it on. We talked about it right before the market opened up, just using this as our high. You know, we're short now at 29. Our stop was 40s, right? So we had mentioned that. So this is now a 5-to-1 trade. So 5-to-1 right there. Happy as a pig, and you know what? And we're pretty groovy right now. So let's just see what winds up happening. Bidding $60.76. We did it again, Brittany.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hopefully day maker over there. I actually just paid for. I'm gonna take a break on PSUS at some point. I paid for locates on the wrong one because this is doing well. PS whatever. PS
I mean,
was the one.
Are they both going down? No or no?
No. Well, yeah, they are, but PS has done almost no volume.
Whoa.
1.1 million shares versus versus 4 million.
stock,
If you
Ed?
see that pop in, it's because the other one is breaking down. But unfortunately, it'll be frustrating, but you throw a stop in for a reason, and now silver is too far gone. I don't know if we'll get the rubber band action when we have Powell coming in and talking, but I'm not going to punch lows. It's sort of a rule break for me. So I get out, I tighten the stop. That was my call. It'll end up being wrong, but I still want to be bearish on this. So the next available pop, I'll just allow it to try to come back in. I don't think it'll be on trend. It could just be off of the low. So if we bounce back into the prior low, then that will be the way to get back into it. Just double checking some other names that I see being thrown into the chat. Dump everything. NVIDIA's down. You want to look for any relative strength, which I'm not seeing unless it's an oil name. At this point, Bitcoin just lost 76, is at 75. I don't know if that's going to provide us any kind of an opportunity to get back in here. No, that's just absolute flush zone. Ooh. Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah,
I tried to bounce it sometime. Get the VWAP, get the VWAP. There was a couple of good bounces in the VWAP, but now you're just.
There's Randy, but I don't see coffees, but I see Randy. Hey, Randy, how's it going?
Wait a minute.
He's back. Yeah, he's no, because they're doing a power cut through.
I was like, you're not here today.
Like that. So Randy was not here in the morning. He'll be here for a very long time. Will you be here tomorrow morning, Randy? No. Okay. Well, is it raining outside?
No, it's
okay,
good.
Good. I have a game tonight. We had practice last night. Game tonight. I got to make the lineup. Yeah, we were okay yesterday with the field, but we were just a gravel field. Tonight we're on the Little League Diamond, so it has good flood.
Oh, the High Park one.
Yeah, the High Park is a legit place. Okay, so yeah, there's IBIT, as Neil mentioned there. Bitcoin falling out of bed real quick. I couldn't call up, unfortunately, one of the viewers there because I had to restart our little system there. But he said, look at NVIDIA, Sean. And I was like, okay, NVIDIA is making that move down. That's a pretty aggressive move, I would think. Therefore, NVDA taking out the low of the day. And as many things have done, except for the market just bounced off the low, which is fine by me, man. We got a decent cover right now. We have about 15%, maybe about 20% left on the short there. So we'll wait to see if we do get taken out near the high side. Remember, at 2:15, we will get that talk again, Sorry, at 2:15.
2:30.
At 2:30, we'll get Powell on the mic, and he'll have the prepared speech, which we already know about, and then he'll take the questions. That's when it gets interesting. Probably someone's going to ask him about the future rate cuts, and then that way he can, or moves, and then that way he can give maybe a bit of a better timeline for that. Will he stay or will he go? That's another question that we're going to wind up finding out about. There goes the dollar.
Does he technically still vote, right? So
yeah, so we'll see what he thinks about all those the 8-4 vote there, and we'll see when people ask him questions. But there goes the dollar upside. Yes.
So my personal theory is if he does do it, I think he'll announce it as part of his prepared statement. If he does make this announcement, I don't think it'll be something he responds to in questions. My thing is, if he doesn't include it in his prepared statements, he's not going to announce it. And if you ask him about it, he won't tell you. Like, I've seen enough Powell that I can confidently say that.
Yeah, he's been asked that before, as Adair mentioned.
Yeah, everybody, he knows it's coming.
He's like, stay tuned or something like that. I can't forget the answers he gives. But
it's like if he was going to give a response, like that, you would think that he would have it planned out there. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear an answer to that question today, to be honest with you. And we'll see. I'm a little bit, it's crazy to think that Intel's not going down.
I have to go to the screen.
Like if we don't pop and fade, I'll look at the two things I'm looking at right now. Silver, which we were in before, is not really popping back up. IBIT is, and so Bitcoin is trying to pull back. I think looking for a reversal off of the prior low is going to make sense. It's about 42.8. And then any sign of action that we're curling here in Intel, like this is the level where it was confirming the short. I just want to see that these buyers aren't continuously stepping up.
Oh, no, because Bitcoin was going down, I was like, maybe Robinhood is going to try to catch a bit at 70, but it's at 70 right now. This is, it's good. Okay, we have the low being 68.90, but that's not the low.
Those are all wrong.
Yeah, the low rate here is where we're at right now. So we have to watch out for Robinhood coming back in, and then I assume the other name that reported today. Well, actually, SoFi, they're both right at the lows right now. Did SNDK care about this? We're going to go to Adair in 1 second. Yeah, so a little bit of a pullback there. This name was up 10% now, only up 7. What's up, Adair?
President Trump talking right now in the Oval Office. Just be aware, in addition to Fed Chair Powell in 15 minutes. So again, guys, Fed Chair Powell in 15 minutes. Last press conference as FOMC chair. I've got the purple ready. Let's see if he does wear that purple tie and what he gives us. But no, there's an actual reason I wanted to talk to you guys right now. I was looking at the CME Fed Watch tool, and there's this probabilities aspect, which I have to shout out someone named Frank in the chat for telling me about this. But basically, it shows you kind of in a zoomed out lens, what are the rate expectations like months ahead. So April 2026, of course, we just had this. We didn't get the rate cut. We're not expecting a potential rate cut until December of 2027. But when I was studying this, one interesting thing that I noticed is that once you start to get April and June of 2027, like you're still expecting, of course, a rate hold, but the chances of a hike in these months actually significantly outweighs the chances of a cut. So if we do not hold rates steady, there's a chance rates could increase now in mid-2027. I'll go back to you.
Well, and when you're talking about, that's one thing usually the market's not going to be happy with, but the economy is what it is. And if it's signaling that you could see more inflation, down the line, the idea of rate hikes can be scary for the market to think about. It's just, we're in a macro environment right now where regardless of what you're looking at in the market, you have to have a bit of a more macro look. And on a day like today, sometimes it used to be CPI, nowadays it's gonna be the Fed. And when you've got a big macro type of day, you have to have a different approach, like a different mentality, because it's not the same as going off of technicals and going off individual stock fundamentals. It's not that. It's a macro, overall broad look, and sometimes you gotta narrow it down, like today, or any day that the Fed is giving their update.
Okay, here we go, man. Good lead up there, Neil. This is your pre-Fed defensive preparation. I mean, look, it's pretty simple. What you want to do, and we've been talking about it, you got to do this every single time, and that is check out what the consensus is, right? And we have a Fed rate watch tool. All you have to do is Google that. There's a couple of them that are out there. It'll tell you roughly what the market's thinking, whether or not it's 100% for a cut, whether or not it's 50-50. That'll give you a good idea of what the consensus is, because that way you're not going in blind, right? So there's a Fed rate watch tool. You want to make sure what's been priced in so that we know about a potential surprise. So that's what you kind of do early. You're trying to figure out, hey, are we expecting fireworks, or is this just going to be, as we like to say around here, a nothing burger? As you can see here on the key levels, that's the next thing you're going to look at. So, all right, we know if there's going to be a big move or not, and if there is, what levels are we looking at? This is very important to map this out before the trade actually happens, and so you don't get stopped out on bad prices, or you understand where the market could go. So those are key critical levels, both on the SPY and on the NASDAQ, or quite frankly, if you're trading gold, silver, the US dollar, the VIX, things like that that will move on Fed days. Have a roadmap. Make it clear, easy, and decisive. And the last one, this is something that I think all traders should consider, and that is risk off. Right? That 15 minutes, we said by 1:45, that 15 minutes heading into the actual announcement, we're not sure where the market's going to go, let alone right at 2 p.m. So it's interesting to hold a little bit, that's for sure. But if you're going to have a big position that you really believe in, maybe put it on after 2 o'clock. There's no point in getting in there when the volatility is a little uncertain. So these are some defensive preparation notes that you can make before the 2 p.m. decision.
Absolutely, and the thing about it is, on a day like today, patience, and something Sean mentioned there is going to be so important. Knowing where you want to express the trade and then allowing it to happen. An example might be, well, on a Fed day, rate-sensitive names could move more, so maybe you want to look at the IWM. Sometimes you might have moves in the dollar, so you might want to look at gold or silver, and that could be something, or maybe trade a currency pair. But allowing the news to hit at 2 o'clock and then react to it, and then catch the drift. You know the volatility is going to be there, but if you're jumping the gun too early, you can get basically in and out of too many trades and chop yourself up. The key is that patience and knowing exactly where you want to look, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, perfect point here. And this is the number one point on this list is the algorithmic trading, the noise that can happen right at 2 p.m. because you're going to get descents, you're going to get dot plots sometimes as well. So watch out for those algos in the first couple minutes of trading. That could be very, very difficult to capture. And especially as a day trader, you don't want to get involved with all of that noise. Then this is the key thing as we await for 2:30, right? That's when the Fed chair is going to actually stand on the podium and start to take questions. And those questions are what what can throw the a little bit of a wrench into the plans, right? There's one key word that could happen that sends the market upside or down. So you got to make sure that you're paying attention to the 2:30 presser. Very, very important. We can't say that enough. And then again, at 3 p.m., that's a little bit an hour after. You still have an hour until the close, right? So watch out for the trend. I mean, just in this simple example here, it's just a chart. You can see the trend is long, so you may want to say, okay, now that we've gone through the noise, we now have a half hour of information, plus we can now absorb the trend. So, you know, the safer trades, trade within the ranges, that's fine, but these are the key times you're looking for after the announcement. So we talked about how to get defensive before, and this is just after the announcement. Watch out for the noise, wait for the speech, then look for the trend. That's how we trade the Fed day.
You better believe it. And remember, macro days are going to reward the traders who react by their preparation. Prepare to react. Don't try to guess. That can be entirely too dangerous. That's what it's about on a Fed day, which we have right here. And another wild one is we're starting to kick back in a little bit to the upside. There was, and let's go to Adara, there was a pretty big news story. I think, is that what you have on PayPal, Adara?
Yes. I have the story. So, yeah, again, apologies, guys. I could not bring this to you during the segment. But here we are, CNBC reporting that PayPal, under its new CEO, Enrique Lores, is going to be spinning off its Venmo into a standalone business unit. This comes as we have potential buyers for PYPL, and apparently the goal of this is to make a separate Venmo a little bit easier to sell. So again, PYPL on watch could be reportedly spinning off its Venmo business, according to CNBC. Now, also worth noting here, President Trump making more statements about Iran during his meeting in the Oval Office with these Artemis space people, astronauts, saying that he made some comments about Iran here. If I can scroll back down here, he said they have a small percentage of missile-making facilities, and he did also make a comment about knocking out the rest of their missiles and systems if they don't make a deal. So Trump once again threatening retaliation with Iran should a deal not be made. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Adair. I was just sort of thinking, this is from CNBC, not directly from PayPal themselves.
Yeah, it says CNBC, PayPal.
I almost feel like if these types of stories, you're probably at an 80 to 90% win rate if the source isn't the company themselves in a press release or the CEO or the CFO. It's just X reporting that this might be happening. If it does a topic, you just short the topic. It's insane. I actually thought that maybe this was coming from the CEO, maybe speaking somewhere. And I like PayPal. I recently bought PayPal. So even though it's up, I'm like, that, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's not the end of the world. And I don't think that's going to be game-breaking unless we hear something again directly from the CEO. So I got, it's not a reload, it's sort of a re-entry in that prior low on SLV. Again, just letting it get or drift back into what was a flat bottom break. Bitcoin didn't get anywhere close, basically didn't move. There's some names that have really held up. And that's not even the right word. Held up is not the right word for what's going on with Intel. We just saw the futures get from VWAP, the ES and the NASDAQ, get from VWAP all the way down to the low a day. Intel barely even budged. It's not breaking the high, but it's really trying to fly here. We've got STK Trader. Thank you for the super chat. Silver's been your workhorse. You invested 30K at 25 SLV. Some people get mad when we say silver instead of SLV.
Oh, those people are
last year sold at 107. Do you ever see 30 again? No, I think like you have to remember there was like a structural breakout that happened in gold and in the metals. So, and with the amount of printing, is anybody spending less money? You think the world's printing less money with the wars going on here? And with inflation, no, we're just going to print more money. So I think structurally, something fundamentally happened. It was a monster breakout in both gold and silver. The idea that you get back to those, like to 25 in SLV, or I think you said 30.
Yeah.
No, that would seem to me, what I think would need to happen in the world from like from just a monetary standpoint to get us there, there's zero will for that to ever change. Probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean,
money, man.
You never think prices are going to get to certain levels, and then they do. So we'll have to wait to see. But I think that's true. When you get that sort of a big epic breakdown or break up in that example for the metals, the rest is history. And we'll just see. I think it actually gets to probably 100 before it gets back to 50. So, all right, TQs.
30.
Not doing much. We're almost out of this position, so we'll just let that roll. Let's check out something else. I mean, Google's going to be reporting tonight. Good name, underneath 350 right now. A little bit of a fade, but not much, right? I mean, mean, this is part of the thing that you're looking at. Not much of a move on Google there, just hanging out. So you're underneath VWAP. This could be a really good short. This is a name that, I mean, we love some Google, man. It's a big position of mine in both portfolios of mine. But we'll see if it holds.
I got a question that we always frame this the other way about these earnings. Which one would you got to buy one, which one are you going to buy? You go Microsoft, Apple. Apple's tomorrow. So let's just go Microsoft, Meta, and Alphabet, Amazon.
Four tonight, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to include the fifth. But instead of that, what if you turn around and said, you have to sell one. You don't have a choice. You've got to dump one of them. This is not an if, and, or but situation between Alphabet, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft. Like, gun to your head. I think that's a much more difficult decision if you have to sell one. No Qualcomm alone.
You know what? For me, it might actually be easier than to which one to buy, and I'll tell you why. Because this is at the all-time highs, and it's right there. So I would just say I don't think I'll have too much FOMO. Like if I had to sell all, whatever, $1,000 of a position, let's just say that's your max position, and you got out of it all, I think it would be Amazon, because even if they do have a good quarter, which, by the way, this was their last quarter right there, even if they do have a great quarter, I'm still not sure how much this will move to the upside just because of where we are. We're well extended off of the 200 period moving average. We've seen, good quarters come through, which I think Amazon's going to have one, could still get faded out a little bit. I can't choose Microsoft or anything like that just because of, really where Microsoft is at. Microsoft's at, here, I'll call it Microsoft quickly. Microsoft's at a level where, there is a lot of room to the upside for Microsoft right now. And, you're just at the 200 period, I believe, once it loads. If it will. But anyways, the whole point of the question, I think, is a great one. But Microsoft right here, if I had to sell this, I just think that a decent quarter actually moves it a little higher, while a decent quarter on Amazon might bring it a little down. This one's kind of stuck in the middle. So I know you were going to say Amazon, but what?
Well, Microsoft and Meta are too cheap.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point.
They're both in the 20s on a forward PE. Amazon's still over 30, and the answer is never going to be Google for me. Like I didn't even bother to check what Alphabet is, because the answer for me is never out. That is 4.
Alphabet's at the all-time
highs. It's never going to be. Alphabet has too much of what I like, which is everything. So when you go for the 3, it's just like sell the one historically. If you like them all, which one is expensive? And that's what I would lean to. But Microsoft does have this little, but it's got so much room to run. It's got that curb appeal to it. Of the whole, well, you could, if that was a wipeout bottom, it's still Microsoft, I suppose. And Oklahoma Lone Wolf keeps spamming Qualcomm. I said no Qualcomm, all right? We include Qualcomm in that, then everybody chooses Qualcomm. There's nothing against Qualcomm, and it shouldn't be, because Qualcomm's actually performed really well off of the lows here. But you got to draw the line somewhere.
One more Oklahoma Lone Wolf. One more, my guy.
Hit it one more time.
One more. Hit it one more time. We'll be like a student. We'll put them in timeout for a couple seconds there. But
I don't think they can do that anymore.
I can do it.
No. They used to make kids sit in the corner. I mean, like actual students in timeout. I don't think they're allowed to. There's lots of stuff that happened when we were kids that you just can't pull off anymore in school.
Needless to say.
We've been talking about that.
How about playing with a ball at recess?
Well, we had that. No, but you used to, I don't know if they did it in your school, you'd sit in a chair and facing the corner. It was a legitimate thing. Sometimes you had to wear the dunce cap wasn't a thing when I was
I don't know if that's
in grade
a thing.
school.
Is that a thing?
But you did have to sit in the corner if you were that person.
Yeah, I don't think they don't do stuff like that no more.
You know how I got there one time?
I used to be real bad.
I watched Police Academy. I love that movie.
That's a good one.
And I'm not Jonesy, but the whole making voices or whatever. So I practiced trying to be able to do a mock-up of sounding like the principal calling from the whatever the PA system was.
PA system.
And I pranked the teacher by saying, "Mrs. Whatever, please come to the principal office."
Yeah.
And
then you got in trouble.
Yeah. So I had to sit in the corner. This would have been I was 8 years old maybe, so I was grade 3 or something like that. But I got in minor troubles, sit in the corner for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, maybe it was a half an hour. But we got Powell coming in 30 seconds.
Yes.
So we know Powell's going to hit the podium. He'll have the prepared speech. Maybe we will. I'm not saying we will, but maybe we'd hear something about whether he wants to stay on or not. And certainly his comments on the labor market and the economy and the uncertainty from the war are going to be highlighted because he's on. Yeah, you know what? I got the re-entry here, but I'll give it a tight stop because I still like the shots up here on SLV a little bit better. We're going to go to Adara, and then we're going to get the prepared comments.
Just about ready to get this conference started. The pre-conference music started, and as you can see now, we're just waiting for Powell to step to the podium. And a great time for President Trump to say, who's also live, to say, quote, it's a good time to lower rates. So President Trump still pushing for that rate cut as we get chances that we actually could get a rate raise in 2027. Also, guys, just posted this on X at TTV Research. I've been doing this every month now since I think December, where you just take a look at all of the different votes at the FOMC meeting. Again, guys, this was an 8-4 decision. We did have 3 Feds that voted for the rate hold, but also for against an easing bias in the rate statement, so a more hawkish vote. And then we have Myron, of course, voting for the cut. We're just waiting here for Powell to start speaking. Once he begins, I'll keep you all posted. But again, guys, goodbye, Papa Powell, closing the door on his time as Fed chair. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. Crude oil futures closing pretty much at the lows. It's 230, obviously. That's the other thing that happens at this time. Sorry, did I say at the lows, at the highs?
Yeah, oil. We're still short.
Well, I mean,
market.
Yes, literally at the highs. We're going to end up closing and breaking higher at the end of the day here. So Powell's about to hit the podium. I'm just going to go for the scalp into the low. And if we bounce, short the pops, like a famous trader said when I was a trainee. Short the pops, short the pops. That's going to be the way to go. Yeah, President Trump, Iran just has to say we give up. Well, that would be nice. That would make things nice and easy. I don't think that's going to happen. That's my guess.
No, it's a ridiculous.
Call a shot in the dark.
It's a ridiculous thing to hope for.
There
okay, so there's Powell. Okay, look, man, we're still short. We'll see what can wind up happening right here. Still short this market. We just got another fill rate, pretty much we got a better fill at 75, but we'll wait to see now where this market goes. We didn't reload it. We could have reloaded it at VWAP. I don't really want to play too much off technicals. The market has obviously digested everything. Now we'll just hear what Powell has to say, and inflation elevated. Energy price increases are affecting inflation. I mean, that's part of why it's elevated. We've talked about that, and that's what he's talking about here. Current policy stands appropriate. I'm just telling you things I'm hearing in my ear from Powell right now as he begins to speak there, right on there. So we'll wait to hear. I don't think he's going to say anything that we don't know about right now. Talking about the Middle East is contributing to uncertainty. There goes oil up 7.5% right now. So you thought there was pain at the pumps before today. Do not go tomorrow, as there may be more pain at said pumps right there. Iran. Okay, get out of here, Iran, in this all kind of nonsense right now. It's just ridiculous. President, that's why that story yesterday, blah, 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 is investigating what happens if Trump declares winner. And then all of a sudden now it's like a complete thing is like, well, the only way I can't say we're going to win. And so it's a completely different thing. Like now he's waiting on Iran to say that they give up. I don't believe that they're going to be throwing in the white towel at any moment. But hey, I mean, I'm not Jared Kushner. I don't know anything about all of this. So we'll, just continue to watch out there. Slowing labor force growth, slower labor demand happening for Powell right now. So, just a little bit of a back and forth here on the market. We'll see if Big Papa Pump continues to pump the market. And there it is, man. He takes the podium, 2 straight green candles.
We did hear the words "good afternoon" for the final time here from Fed Chair Powell with his purple tie. He also said here that the current policy stance is going to be appropriate and that Middle East events, as he put it, the conflict here in the Middle East, contributes to the Fed's uncertainty. I'm still looking for this full prepared statement from Powell, usually a little bit easier to find. I will try to find that so I can tell you guys right before we transition into the question period. Also, I have to mention here, President Trump talking about Iran again, saying, quote, there will never be a deal with Iran unless they agree to no nuclear weapons, which we know they're not that likely to agree to. Back to you.
I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but Iran apparently murdered 32,000 of their own people. I don't think they're just going to be like, yeah, you're right, United States and Israel. We're out. You're right. We're just going to lay down right now. Even though you guys have completely demolished all of our infrastructure and everything like that, we're good. We're good. We're good. Forget about all the leaders that are gone. But anyways, just tongue in cheek, we all hope that it ends. I just don't know if that's the best method. Waiting for that to happen. And I know a lot of you in the chat agree with that. But there it is. CPC at 3.5. What is it right now? PCE. But anyways,
I don't think 3.5. If I look at the estimates,
March,
because the March print's going to be tomorrow.
Oh, March
print.
print.
To pull this up. We are seeing tomorrow, we're supposed to get at 3.2% core, and then non-core, we were looking for, wait, where is it? Oh, sorry, I'm having computer issues. Non-core PCE 3.5%. So in line with or hotter than expected here is what Powell's implying.
The bigger thing is how long we've been chilling at 3. It's been way too long at 3 and above 3. Let's be real. And that's the thing that's going to have them hung up on any cuts. So we actually just got a bounce. Silver just won't break the lows. So it bounced off the same bottom. It's going to be as long as we hold this trend of like lower highs, that's great. Once you make a higher low, then it'd be a decision like whether or not I just want to go in at like a technical level, maybe let it get into VWAP, or better yet, topping tail candle. Like, allow there to be a reversal candle or a topping tail, because now all of a sudden you're in that other mode where we've had Powell on the podium, it's been a short, maybe we turn something else. Intel's not really even moving that much. It's up 10.5%, but this isn't doing anything that I want to see. Like, I want to see more action. If it's the strongest stock out there when we pop, why isn't it popping further? AMD's actually breaking the high of the day, up 4%. That might be too far gone. I'll just stick with we'll stick with SLV for the next opportunity. Just be patient. Look for that topping tail. There's been nothing on the bid strong enough to make me think the other direction yet here. So yeah, congratulations, Warsh.
Yeah, he's already said this is going to be his last his last Fed. So
maybe NVIDIA.
Okay, we're in 5% of this trade. This move down, we were only in 20%. Cleared it out there, got another bid out here. So if we rip above, we'll just stop out there. And as I said, I mean, here's Big Papa Pump. I mean, he hits the podium right here, and the NASDAQ goes all the way back to the highs of the afternoon again. And it's just a matter of kind of like sort of quelling the doubters a bit there on the rate the rate decision, keeping it as is, and just talking about how, looking at different factors and talking about the Iran war. Oh, by the way, Intel right now just, see ya. There's $94. Man, do we love us some Intel right now. Okay, here's a move down on the market. Look at that. See, this is what we're doing, man. Take advantage of that. There's the pushback right into VWAP again. We'll take 15 cents. Remember, our stop is still 10 cents. So we'll take 15 cents there on the move back down and get out of a little bit more. And now just holding a little piece. But yeah, that Intel, obviously, okay, now we're really starting to go down a little bit right here. So let's go over to Adair. She's got some news on this.
Yeah, Fed Chair Powell taking a bit of a different tone than we normally see him take during this press conference. He said that, again, as we knew, it's his last press conference as chair. He said before he's not stepping down from the Fed Board of Governors until they close the investigation against him, and he said that remains the case. So he's not stepping down, guys, from the Fed Board of Governors. As we know, the investigation was closed, but as Powell mentioned, Janine Pirro, U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, she said they can reopen it at any time. So he's really unsure if this investigation is going to be reopened or not. As such, he's going to stay on the Board of Governors. He also made a very, very pointed and I think pretty strong case for why the Fed needs to remain independent, remind the people and the media about the purpose of the Fed, and said that he trusts the people working at the Fed. So nice, I think pretty resilient call to arms here from Fed Chair Powell, call to arms in terms of understanding the Fed better in his last press conference as Fed Chair. Now it's question time.
All right, so that's nice. I mean, he'll stay on. I think that's probably neutral for the market. I mean, obviously, he's been proven to be quite a level head, considering all the sort of the stuff that's been thrown at him.
Neutral is sell today.
Yeah, and so I think that's a good story there. I mean, I think you always want to have smart people part of the Fed, and definitely Jerome Powell doesn't get that position. Was also given that position by President Trump.
It's true.
So it's not like he hadn't gone through vetting before. So shout out to everybody watching us right now. We want to say big thank you to all of that as we have Jerome Powell in the top right. And any kind of a stock you guys want us to look at, we will be more than happy to oblige. So get those in the chat there. Let us know what you want Neil and I to look at. I'm just trading the futures here with the NASDAQ and the TQs, and I think it's just Intel on many people's minds as we're back up to $94.
CoreWeave too.
CoreWeave is moving.
CoreWeave's up 8. Look, Intel's having a great day. I understand, but CoreWeave's up 9% and at the high of the day too. It's not. it's not only Intel today. This one's breaking out pretty nicely. It was Lone Wolf, I believe, in the chat, was asking about this. And again, this is just, some of it's going to be technical. The rest of it is just going to be the chips are picking winners and losers this week in a really big way. And there's no in between. If you're running and gunning. You know, it's like run TMC back in the day. If you're with the big three, you're gone. Like, unfortunately, it's not been NVIDIA. I'm a little disappointed. I'm disappointed in NVIDIA, but I've been over that. We've talked about this before with my choice between AMD and NVIDIA and how that's going for me. So anyways, the only thing was just the topping tail candle was a little bit absurd on SLV, but it wasn't like there was a lot of trading happening in the top end of this candle. The trading came back in at about the $0.50 at 64.5, so that's where you could really short unless you were just sitting there in the middle of the ether. So gonna get out at the LOD again, just sort of trade back into the trend, as we have Danny Boy Fade Runner.
You got another one. I mean,
that's a good one because
how's the cheese going? You know, I think the cheese Spencer business is going well. As a Green Bay Packer, I mean, we need to figure out this cheese thing. As owner of the Packers, I should say, he never endorsed the sneakers I sent him. Yeah, so unfortunately, he's a hard guy to get on your side. But if you send Neil and I sneakers,
I'll endorse the living you know what out of any cheese dispenser business. If that's what you want to do.
And as I was saying, if the cheese dispenser business slows down, let me know. We can maybe give it away on one of the Packers home games. We can think about doing that, and I think that would be well received for sure there. So Powell just saying he's going to leave when appropriate, and he'd like to stay on. He says it's hard to get consensus with 19 strong-minded people. So that would be true. So we'll have to wait to see what's going on there. And we did get a question from David. Adara, do you have the implied moves done yet?
I was literally just about to finish updating them here, and I like to keep it as close to the close as I can because they tend to really oscillate quite a lot. So I just want to get you guys the most accurate. Going to finish this up right now. I've done all the base work. Should be out in, I hope, less than 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, perfect. So there you go, David. You just asked about the implied moves, so I said that we would discuss them once we have them. So Adara does a great little graphic, so we'll look at that.
Maybe Meta 1, Microsoft 2, Amazon, then Google. If I had to guess.
Meta will be 1, is that what you said?
Meta, Microsoft,
that's
then maybe Amazon, Google, or
not Microsoft. It'll be, I think it'll be Amazon. Well, it could be Microsoft, but
well, actually, no. Microsoft doesn't historically move much.
Exactly.
Maybe I put them 3.
Yeah, we'll go Meta, Amazon, Microsoft. No, Google, then Microsoft.
That's a guess.
Microsoft.
I just heard that can't
I'm
be
trying
right.
to. What was I trying to load up again?
Oh,
I
can't
even
really.
remember.
No liquidity. I just heard Kodak was breaking out. Why is Kodak moving, and why should we care?
Maybe they got into the iced tea business. I don't know.
Congratulations, Kodak. My daughter is in love with iced tea. That's like the only drink she'll.
Yep,
like
all my kids drank was sweet iced tea and pina coladas when they went on when we went on vacay. They love it. I tried to get them to have the Arnold Palmer's, which is the lemonade. Lemonade, a tasty treat. They like the Arnold Palmer's.
Hold on, the real one?
What?
Baron's old enough now. A little partake, maybe.
No, they don't drink. They don't drink alcohol. My guy over there. But
he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's very. Yeah, as I said, he'd be the second biggest guy for around here. Okay, so here we go, man. Let's spin it. Let's see who's making money on the prop side of things. So this is yesterday. Me and Neil and I trade on a prop floor here. It's called Real Trading. You can go check them out at realtrading.com, and you can figure out I've been here for 24 years. This is the top trader yesterday. One market. These are the markets. And these are the U.S. dollars that they made. Okay, so some days I can show you here, and we would have Blue Ocean, or we would have, I don't know, Dublin or Milan or something. But no, yesterday, these are yesterday's numbers, not today's numbers. NASDAQ, the CSE, so in Canada, a very hot market for sure, the Canadian market. So definitely worth a look if anybody's trading in that space. Canada, again, there. Because remember, Canada's very oil dependent, driven. So, wow, okay, we'll look at this in a minute because right now, the money is not on that screen. It's on this screen. Here comes Tease TQQs, nice move down again, whoosh, all the way to the downside right there as we continue a downside push here. Let's go, Jerome. Nice little move to the downside here as we'll wait for 80s to see if we can get that fill. That's the best we've sort of gotten right there. But that was a quick look at the numbers. It's basically 7,000 or so near the low end there. So that's kind of some of the numbers that people are doing on prop firms, on our prop firm here. Dara, what was that all about?
Well, the market's moving lower here, but oil is still hanging out near intraday highs. Fed Chair Powell saying that the energy surge hasn't even started or peaked yet, rather. So he thinks energy can continue to push higher. He also said that the Fed expects tariff inflation to recede within the next 2 quarters. So again, Powell warning that the energy increase is nowhere near the top. Back to you.
Thank you, Dara. Well, if that's not there isn't a top on Intel if that wasn't it. It just tagged exactly $94. I see 93.99 as the top of that wick. That's not the high of the day. It hit 94.10 earlier, so just get that out of the way. So I'm going short here and looking for 92. That'll be 92.75. So like the 3/4 first will be the first take, just out in front of that, and then we'll see how far it can go. And again, if it breaks the high of the day, that's going to be kind of an easy out. SLV, I've been getting out of silver every single time it tags the bottom. There we go. And it looks like, so it broke this time, but that could be like an immediate fugaze. Now, if it gets back above that low, last time we pegged it at the actual LOD. I just want to be sure that it's going to hold these bottoms underneath the low of the day. Let's go back to Adair. I guess we have another update.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, guys. I'm still working here on the implied move, so give me a minute there. But it's also worth noting, Fed Chair Powell said that apparently a number of Feds have seen a hike as likely as a cut has moved up. He said it's easy to see why. So again, he's saying that number seeing hike as likely as a cut has moved up. It's easy to see why. So sorry, not the Fed, but I guess the CME FedWatch tool, likely something that he's referring to. He said it's easy basically to see why the chance of a hike has increased in people's eyes. So yeah, pretty hawkish coming through there. Also talking right now about the idea that there's no rush to make a decision on language, saying developments could change over the next 30 to 60 days. Again, once more, this quote, the number of officials who view a rate hike as equally likely as a cut has risen alongside growing support for shifting to a neutral bias. It's easy to see why. Back to you.
Okay.
Man, that's not it's not a good place to be.
No, I think it's well. I mean, he's definitely putting all the cards out there, which is nice to see. So, yeah. So here we go. Just a quick little talk. New position. We had traded Apple long today, and it was good. It's just we did get dropped out right there near the lows. Once we broke sort of that low right there, as we always say, man. I mean, I got to have stops, so that was a stop there, and then it did. I don't want to use the word moon, but we went from 268 up to 271 right there, almost in a straight line. So I'm just going to test out this name right here, right now, for us on Apple. Go long. So now we're long. Okay, we just got to fill there somewhere. We just got to fill at 70s off of 50 long. So that was just a 20 cents. I don't know. We're going to try to stack it up. So there goes Apple again. Nice move higher. Let's see how high we can go now with Apple. I mean, just fell in. I was going to wait for VWAP. That's 269. That was going to be where my next fill was. And then if we actually lost 269, we were going to get out. But here we go again. Nice little play. Now it's 30 cents in the money. So, take your trades where they lie. And right now, Apple's doing pretty good for us here. I was a little nervous about going Apple and the futures, but we're already out of the futures. So we do switch it back over, get Apple. So take out some out for 20 cents, take some out for 30 cents. I do have another offer for 40 cents, and then we'll see if it can climb even higher from here, maybe back into the highs of the day. So we're getting out right now, and then we'll go up here to 270.20s, and then hopefully we can get that next little level. Here it comes, man, as quick as you like. 90s hopefully coming through for a decent trade there on Apple. So, yeah, that's that, man. Earnings will be coming out in just over an hour.
An hour in, is Apple the last one at 4?
Apple's at Apple's tomorrow.
Oh, sorry, Apple's tomorrow. The last one is 4:20. I think I forget who's going to be last. Usually Meta. Well, Meta that one time.
So you've got Microsoft last at 4:05, the other 3 at 4 p.m.
So you know what? Maybe it's Qualcomm. But I remember there was one day where Zuckerberg made us wait until it was like 4:40 or 4:45. Hopefully we don't get a repeat of that. But a quick update: we couldn't hold the low or underneath the low on silver, so it did break up. There might be another chance at this. If it does another obscene topping tail candle reversal, then I wouldn't mind jumping back in and trying a little something to the south side. But for now, It's starting to come back up. Intel's a play off of the high. And I was just looking over at Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin, the silver broke the low. IBIT did not. It held the line. And we're right at 75 or just above 75,000 on BTC. For IBIT, that's probably like 42.5 is what I see. So this one, only actually been playing it to the long side, like every time there's a bit of a trend break. But I like the double bottom. If you didn't make a fresh low when the market did, then there's quote unquote relative strength. It's not real relative strength. But I want to see this break out this little top here, 42.7 on IBIT. It's not a real, it's not a round number over there on Bitcoin, but it has had sellers at that exact same price. If it can break, I like the R&R. Play it to the prior low or like the recent low on the 3-minute, and then look for a bit of a reversion. It's almost 3 o'clock, and then we get into power hour, and we'll see how long Powell. I feel like Powell's not going to be on the mic as long as usual today, because like, what's he going to say? His opinion doesn't matter as much when he's on the way out.
No, I mean, his opinion never really mattered that much anyways, because we have a voting structure, so we have to wait. And by the way, there it is. There's Apple, man. I mean, there's 50 cents. So I know we're trading an active name with Intel there, but we also just grabbed that 50 cents right here on Apple to the upside. So here we go. We'll just see how much more it wants to go. This is now basically 1-to-1. We were going to stop out on a break of 269. So there it is. Yeah, Jerome Powell. We're dunking on him right now with this trade. So far, so good here with a nice trade on Apple. Neil's got Intel, and Adara's got more for us.
Those are looking for these implied earnings moves calendar. Here it is. Meg 7s, once again, not that exciting for implied earnings moves. Tesla, our first of the season, with a like 5.5% implied move. Google, more or less same implied move here, about 5.7%. Highest implied move of the Meg 7 is going to be Meta at 7.5%. Highest implied move overall, not shocking given this roster. It's going to be Carvana, 12.3% implied move. You can find this here in XFTV research. Also, Powell continuing to comment, saying that he does not see the labor market as a source of inflation. Back to you.
Thanks,
I
Adara.
see the labor market as source of inflation. Well, yeah.
I think you better, I don't know, you might want to start looking there.
I think so. You have another problem with the labor
Derek
market.
coming in hot, says Fernand. Yeah, so
You got another problem with the labor.
you just put on IBIT. I think IBIT.
IBIT was the breakout trade.
Yeah,
so
it's gone for a dip.
It's the fact it didn't make that. It didn't make a new low when the futures did. It didn't make a new low when silver did, which I was also monitoring. So it's a breakout of a resistance level with the stop at the prior bar. Intel has to break higher today or not. It went about. And it went about 20, 30 cents in the money, but I'm giving it 70 to try to take 70 and a buck and all that stuff. So if I'm short here, I'm not getting out unless it breaks a new fresh high of the day. That's a built different type of trade. I don't want anything small, and I'm not completely done with silver, I don't think. The third name I'm looking at is if I get some kind of an obvious, like look how obvious this topping tail candle was. If it still does something like this again, I think there's another short opportunity with SLV just because of how weak it was. It did make a fresh low, so it's been making lower highs and lower lows the entirety of the, well, I mean, frankly, it's been doing it all day. I was going to say the entirety of the afternoon, but it's been making lower highs and lower lows since about 10:30. If you don't break that trend, I want to give it a couple more chances. There's still an hour to go here, and that was something that I liked to the short side regardless of what was going on with the Fed. We don't really have to worry too much about oil as those market futures are closed. But if this were to fall all over itself at the close, remember what that should do to the overall markets. Let's go to Adara at the desk again, another update.
I think I know we got this pump back in the market. As I mentioned a couple minutes ago, Fed Chair Powell saying that it's, quote, easy to see why an increasing number of Fed officials are seeing the chance of a rate hike later on. He just clarified, though, that people are not saying they need to hike now. So, again, even though the chances of a hike later on are increasing in the eyes of some Fed officials, Fed Chair Powell saying that basically no one's assuming that hikes need to happen right at this moment. Back to you.
Well, yeah, not right at this moment. But.
I got another position on right here. We'll start another with NVIDIA. I just realized that when you guys in the chat was telling me about NVIDIA, it actually came into 208. Like, that's the level that I like. So we'll start really small now, and small is relative to whatever position sizing everybody's using, but for me, relatively small, half unit right now. I'm waiting for it to come into 208.25, and then we'll just play off of, or no, did I put 208.20? No, 208.05. I was going to go to 25, but then I was like, wait a minute, the bottom's not 08. The bottom is right here. 50s, 207.50. 208.30. So in giving it a little bit more room right now, I could see definitely, I mean, especially on, you know, a wording or whatever Powell has to say, this market could come back in a little bit, and I didn't want to just get stopped out at 208. We have a couple of wick bottoms there that have happened, so we'll try. Okay, so here it comes. This is completely fine. If this comes in into 208 right there, we'll buy a little bit more, and then we'll just hold out and see if 207.50 winds up holding. We can actually put our stop in right now so don't forget about it. Is that really? Yeah, okay, that's easily the bottom. And then we'll just get stopped out if that comes in. So we'll wait for a 208 fill to come through, and then we'll take more shares, and we'll see what winds up happening. We did exit out of more of our Apple there once it broke the 50 period moving average. I want to put another piece right there as well at 82, just at the 50, there it is, just at the 52, and then maybe if we continue to go higher, we can just leave it now because we still have our 269 area coming. I didn't want to go too long and not be able to get out of some Apple in case the market fell, because then we're actually doubling our position on that side, right? So yeah, there it goes. Nice move there for NVIDIA. Let's go see what winds up happening with this trade right now.
And that high just runs again. I will take one more shot at this, but it has to show exactly what I want, which is a topping tail, something with a lower high. I'm not going to stand out in front of it when it's going up. I'm only ever trying to take this on the way down, and I'm going to leave that stop in. So we're just going to sit in the IBIT long, which, you know,
bye-bye NVIDIA.
Didn't think that's the way we were going to go, but we're headed to the upside now. So it looks like the longs are starting to come in and out of the shorts. Silver is breaking the trend line, so that's probably not going to be anything, and I might actually, if it can close above the trend line, then I got to start to look the other way. This is all-day trend on SLV, which is another setup that we like here. So big Papa, well, little Papa pump. We'll give him that much. Got to get some orders out on IBIT. But if we do break trend on SLV, I don't mind flipping it, but I'm not going to overreact to the wick because this is exactly what happened last time, and then it slammed back into the downside. So I don't want to get trapped up at that top. I don't know how long he's going to be on the podium, but do remember there is this thing that happens occasionally with the Fed when Powell's on the podium. Whatever you're doing while he's on, there can be a bit of a reversal when he finishes his comments. I think we still have some time for that. We'll see.
As Intel rips higher, so does NVIDIA. I mean, this came out of nowhere, man. I mean, we were looking to get longer down there, and we were going to bid 25s, but we didn't. It didn't even hit 25 anyways. It hit O's, but right up there into 209. There goes NVIDIA, man. Just like I said, I've put the work in, trying to trade trend as much as we possibly can. Apple, I thought, was pretty strong here today. So we got into VWAP there, and we traded it off of that. Nice move higher right there. I mean, Apple VWAP was huge earlier. So we'll have to watch out for that, see if that continues. And then NVIDIA is not really playing the trend. This is just playing a key level that we had. And then also, what I mean by the trend right now is the market. I mean, that continues to pump a little bit higher there as, yeah, this is when Powell started, was right here. We did have that move down there, which we were able to cover, thankfully, and then right back up now. And we are out, obviously, of our futures position, which is perfect by me right there. We've done real well, man. We've made back a lot of the day here just with these positions that you guys have seen me trade live, right? And this is the best thing about what we do here is we're traders trading live. So you could see our ins and our outs, and we both have completely different styles. Like, I've only traded 5 names or 4 names today, right? And there goes the move higher. I just kind of sticking with what's happening, and there goes NVIDIA. I still think NVIDIA could get green today. I mean, we just need to see what winds up happening there. My next out is going to be in and around the 200 period of 209.40. I mean, to get green, I think we got to go to 212 or something. No, we're not going to get that high. I thought maybe back into here. 212 is possible. I don't know if we're going to get back up to 213 there today. That seems like a little bit of a pipe dream, but we'll just wait for NVIDIA and try to hold the long. You know, we're long Apple, we're long NVIDIA, and that's really about it. I kind of, yeah, you're in IBIT, so I was gonna say I think that's gonna be a good trade there going upside there. I know it's only not moving too much now, but we'll see if it goes. Yeah, I'm up on IBIT's still gonna be P&L number 1, I believe, and it's just I was in, out. So I like it right now, a little bit of a bottom there, giving you some good targets. But we're mooning right here, baby, and you're not going to wipe the smile off this guy's face right here. We're 50 cents in on Apple, we're 30 cents in on NVIDIA, and we're having a great time. And we've got Adara back there with some news.
Well, at this point, Sean, I'm not even quite sure why the market is mooning so much, because Fed Chair Powell just said that inflation is, quote, kind of misbehaving, and that, quote, maybe a little bit of restriction is the right place to be. So 2 comments that I would say are emphatically not dovish. But here we go. Market loving the final day of Fed Chair Powell and his purple tie. Back to you.
Presumptive final day.
Right.
That's fair.
It's well, I mean, it's probably, but it's not 100%.
Well, like I think all of the big Senate blocks to the full confirmation of war have been removed, and they're going to have that vote, I think, after the May 4th break. So again, assuming his term ends on May 15th, that gives you about 10, 11 days for the confirmation. I think the likelihood of it going through is pretty high, and we've seen how motivated the Senate can be when they want to approve Fed numbers. They approved Myron literally the day of the FOMC meeting that he was first involved in.
Well, it's the last time he'll do this. This is the last time we'll get to see him do this. And ultimately, we are headed back in to the upside. Well, it's interesting. You're saying, it's one of those days where 5's a lot for you. I've only traded 7 names today, which is interesting. Usually, I would trade double the number.
Yeah.
Today, it's only 7, really. And it should be 8, but I didn't actually make a play on that IPO today. The structure of it was just a little bit too weird. With that Pershing Square thing, which is probably a dog. I pulled away from it. I know I said I would take Pershing Square PSUS if it broke down. I didn't even bother to check. The liquidity was so... Actually, it held. So PSUS is actually up. So it's probably a good thing. So I'm going to look for this to get into 43 and then the volume-weighted average price. We just hit power hour. So I suppose you guys just saw our fun little power hour graphic hit. I was looking away. So I did not, unfortunately. But for now, we are headed to the upside, distinctly different from before. We're shorting SLV. That's already back at the volume, VWAP. So this is a pretty hefty turnaround that we are seeing. I just want to see Bitcoin make one more push. If you fail the prior low, then the structure is still holding the short a little bit here. So I got one more out in front of not just today's prior low, but looks like yesterday's low as well. And if that turns into an issue, then structure not looking good on this. On the chat there, wannabe trader saying MP is going green. Yeah, well, you got to do more than just go green, MP Materials. This is one. I want this over the 200 period moving average again and holding. This is a stock that I wanted to add to, and I've seen no reason to do so just yet. So just IBIT for me. Intel just faded 94, but that's not enough to make me try it again. The market's strong. Before, when the market was weak, that's when I wanted to try to catch a short on Intel. Now that the market's strong again, it doesn't really feel like that makes a heck of a lot of sense.
No, we are, I'm trying to do the same thing, kind of just getting in and out. As you can see, we do have a guest interview coming up. It's going to be from Global X, so we'll find out more about their product. That we've been talking about it for quite a while. But when Moon, you say, what about Apple now? There it goes, man. Now you're 70 cents in the money there on Apple. So a nice little move higher there for AAPL as we continue to climb right there on this day. So let's go Apple and see if we can get low or see if we can get higher on this one. NVIDIA's not having the same love for me as Apple, so maybe a little look here for NVDA. Struggling a little bit. We do have a top tick there, so we're fine with what we've done on Apple, but still looking for a little bit more, so we'll see if NVIDIA can get going as well. Looks like Apple will be the stronger name out of the bunch, these two names. So Apple and NVIDIA both kind of trying to hold fort right now. We'll just see where it winds up going. Hopefully back there to the upside. Broadcom, let's check in on our good friend Marvell as well right here, $155. So we can see where that one eventually takes off to. Right now we still like some Marvell. Get that in our portfolio as we already have it. And then I saw someone put in there, Dan Ives said, Palantir has a clear path to be the next $1 trillion company. Yeah, I mean, I like Palantir. I just think that there are some headwinds obviously involved with this name, and most of those headwinds do include the other AI names like the Anthropics of the world, and just more competition coming into this space on the Department of Defense. They're looking for new customers. Might be a little harder when there's more competition. So I've said this a couple times before that I think the easy money in Palantir is obviously gone, but could still go. Dan Ives likes it. The guy's obviously a big tech buds there. So we'll see if that can get tech bug. We can see if that can get going for PLTR. All right.
He likes it, but is he buying it? That's the one thing I never hear.
Yeah, these guys, I don't really care what they buy or not. I mean, these guys are all over the place with what they're doing. You can't believe these guys as far as you can throw them.
No, but it's not even about that for me. It's just I have a profound respect for for the analysts that are like, hey, you know, I like that stock and I'm buying it for this reason. Like,
Oh no, Dan Ives' ETF has it in
yeah,
it.
I know, like for sure. But I'm just curious. Is like, what's your take when things get rough? Like you buying dips. Kathy Wood loses a bunch of money, but she buys a bunch of stuff that looks bad all the time. So good for her. We did tee it up, and we are very pleased to have a special guest this afternoon. So without further ado, we're going to throw it to the desk with Adair.
Bringing in this Power Hour with an interview. Thank you very much for being here with us. Eric Sloan, EVP and Head of Distribution at BetaPro. How are you doing today, Eric? Thanks for being with us.
I'm doing great. Absolute pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's get right into it here. We had a little bit of a tee up there as well. We've heard from Global X before about the BetaPro ETFs, but can you give our newer viewers, people who maybe don't remember, aren't familiar, a quick overview as to what these ETFs are and how they work?
Yeah, for sure. So you've heard of Global X. We're Canada's 4th largest ETF manager. BetaPro is a subsuite of our lineup built for sophisticated active traders. I gather that's the audience that's with us today. Think of inverse leveraged and inverse leverage funds playing on marquee benchmarks, sectors, thematics. Take your pick. Those products are there for you to use. For us, that suite is 2.5 billion large 40-plus funds today. And you get your favorites in there. S&P 500, S&P 60, semiconductors, gold, silver, oil and gas, some of the hot topics that we've been facing questions from investors today.
Let's get right into, I guess, questions investors might have. We've had a lot of volatility lately in the market, as you know, as everyone knows here. So what are you seeing from BetaPro traders in terms of managing this intense volatility?
It's been a fun quarter, let's put it that way. And you got to choose your direction, pick your tool, and use it accordingly. A reminder for BetaPro funds, right? If you're using like a 2 times levered ETF, you put in $100, that fund has exposure to 2 times the upside of that product if you're on the upside of the fund. So a reminder, it can also be 2 times the downside leverage. Pick your direction accordingly. When you look at what traders are using now, we're seeing it as really 2 things. One, a sector play. I want to be able to remove some of my risks from broad benchmark exposure. I want to go really focused on a particular area, take advantage of some macro news, maybe work within a specific sector or subsector or geography, and really amplify my exposure. So think of it like an efficient use of capital. I was on the phone with a couple pension plans and asset managers last week, and their big theme was we're tracking benchmarks, but we want to also get into sectors and start talking about how we focus in on areas where they're either protected from the news cycle or potentially more exposed.
So with that in mind, I think really great transition here. What are some other themes that you or other people you're talking to are watching right now?
For us, oil and gas is big. You look at where our BetaPro lineup has its history. We launched the funds in 2007 on S&P 60 in Canada, HNU, HND, the Canadian up and down products. They're huge. They trade a ton. They were actually the most actively traded ETF suite in Canada last quarter on the TSX. So we're seeing a lot of folks jumping into those products to manage both the upside, take the opportunity, and mitigate some risk on the downside. Silver was big last quarter as well, so was gold. So we're seeing all your favorite commodity products, frankly, also things Canadians and global investors love about our country's investment ecosystem.
Is there anything else that you want to tell everybody here about BetaPro and about these ETFs, what you guys do, any new products coming out right now?
Probably two good ones for you. When you're done with your sector exposure, you've got your double or triple leverage at play already. You want to go park in cash for a while. Global X has one of the largest cash suites in the market in Canada, so you want to make a little bit of money while you're waiting for the next trade. Cash is where you want to be. But this morning we launched Orbex, which is our space tech innovation fund. And the whole driver for that, Global X and Murray Asset, our parent company, have been all over SpaceX for years. For us, this is really about how do we play a theme into space for Canadian investors, retail advisors. We'll see if the institutions come in, but it's also a fast entry for SpaceX. Should they decide to list in the US this year, we'll have them hopefully not any longer than 8 days into our fund, ready to go for retail to take advantage of.
Very exciting way to play SpaceX here. Thank you again to Eric Sloan, EVP and Head of Distribution at BetaPro, for being here with us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Chris.
So just a quick question, Eric, you guys run that cash symbol?
Cash is ours.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually in that.
I'm in it.
So I didn't even realize that.
I didn't know that was.
So yeah, I like the distribution there. That's a great one, and yeah. So we rotate in and out, and we're friends with Eric from before. So thank you, Eric, for coming through here, and a great sponsor of the program. We're always with Global X, and I trade the TQQQs. They're on the Nasdaq, so that's a levered product, and we can look at on the TSX some of those with Global X and BetaPro. So we want to thank them for coming out one more time. But yeah, that cash ETF, pretty interesting space there.
Yeah,
for
very interesting.
sure.
The SpaceX
and then
as well.
you also mentioned space. So
That's
there you
what,
go.
My ears perked up. I was like, oh, word. And again, it's just a way for traders here in Canada to be able to take advantage. Oh, there was one new thing. Well, we got to VWAP on SLV. So top and tailed at VWAP, jumped back into it, kind of left it alone from the low of the day, but it already caught a bid, like a higher low bid. So I'm not reloading this. I'm going to play inside of the range. If you break VWAP, let's just get out of this. You know, the shorts worked, but it doesn't have to work forever. You lose VWAP, you could really start to press. It's past 3 o'clock, and it is a Fed day, and Powell is done, obviously, as I can see. This is weird. I saw this yesterday, and just oh, shoot, where'd it go? There we go. He's still there?
No, go to
Powell is still there.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, why did we pull him away if he wasn't done? So I thought for a second he was done.
Yeah, Andre.
All right, well, that shocked me. Well, there's that imbalance again on Barrick. So watch out. It had a big imbalance yesterday that paired off. That wasn't there when 350 hit. It did the same thing yesterday. But I just hopped out. Well, whatever. I tightened up the break even. I'll stay with getting out of it because Bitcoin didn't move that much, and maybe he's not done, but it wasn't really going much on that break anyway. So I'll defend the break even stop that way because ultimately it wasn't like it was going absolutely ham. So take what you can get out of it, and then jump back into SLV, which was more actively trading this one anyway. So you break VWAP, I'll get out of that. Look for the next opportunity. Only about 40 minutes until we get the, like I said, those imbalances, but I'm not going to get fooled by that Barrick. Barrick was like 3 or 4 million shares and then came out as absolutely nothing, I think 2 days ago.
Yeah, we're not. Good call there. We always look at that symbol because we never know what it was. Yeah, now it's exactly. It was just a B there. So a little bit of a switch up there on that one. So meanwhile, we have a new entrant into the club, the vaunted dollar club right there, and almost 270.40 right now, so we're 10 cents away from that. Actually, we got into 245, so almost. We'll get another piece out right here at 34. Why not do that as we lighten up the position, even though it's already 315. We don't know where it's going to go from here. We do have big earnings coming tonight, so I do think that there is another piece to the puzzle right now, and that is to be patient with any of the potential earnings plays that are going to be coming through. Right, and Apple and NVIDIA are not that, but NVIDIA definitely hums tonight, I would think, as we await more decisions on CapEx. And so there we go, another out. We got a good out at the 200 period there for NVIDIA. And I mean, if you've just been following what I've been doing here this afternoon, since the number, we go 3 for 3. We go this was really good. NVIDIA, because we had a little bit more shares here than we did on the other two calls. And then NVIDIA was a good trade, obviously. That's now 40 cents. And then the other trade we have is Apple. So I'm going to go 3 for 3 here this afternoon. And we always tend to have some pretty good success on Fed days just because the volume's there. It reminds me a little bit of the open. So there it goes, man. We'll continue to have success here. 3 for 3. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and all of that if you enjoy the content. I'm back every single day until the day that I'm not. But it's Pan W right now. Upside. Nice move there for Palo Alto today. CrowdStrike and all of them. We definitely like these plays. I saw Boeing downside. Maybe we have to look at why Boeing isn't going.
I already looked at this. It's the entire defense sector and the aerospace sector. So GE also down RTX, LMT. Boeing actually had a positive catalyst. They signed a deal with some SCAT group for 5 jets.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. But let's go over to Neil for a read.
We just spoke to the man himself, and I want to thank him for coming through because, hey, volatility creates a movement. And if you're a sophisticated trader, like Eric mentioned, then you got opportunities out there. And BetaPro by Globex is offering Canada's first and longest running suite of leverage and inverse ETFs built for sophisticated investors who understand the risks of leverage and the importance of precision. Its triple leverage bull and 3 expiry ETFs tied to the NASDAQ 100 index are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving traders tools to engage with both upward momentum and market pullbacks. These strategies are currency hedged, seeking to offset USD exposure back to the Canadian loonie. And if you're navigating short-term market moves, whether up or down, BetaPro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like, in your individual strategy, objectives, and risk profile. You can trade tactically and learn more at betapro.ca, including, Eric was talking about the ability to get into metals. They've got silver. They're going to have exposure when we get the SpaceX IPO later this year, which I think is going to be a rather large market event. We'll see. Probably going to be. It will probably be the single biggest volume liquidity event of the year, I think. It just if you're looking at the first 5 minutes, I don't think there'll be a first 5 minutes that remotely resembles. Maybe sometimes you get
I mean, it just makes sense. I think you're right.
An end of year imbalancing, but who could get added to the index that would be bigger than SpaceX IPO? I can't think of anybody.
No, I mean, I think Anthropic will be a better trade, but I'm excited for SpaceX. Here's PSUS. I don't know, not great, but not horrible. It's still just, why are we at zeros right there? I don't know why that says zeros. But anyways, we'll see. For right now, just opens up here. This is Pershing Square. There is the investment wing, and then there's the asset management company. So PSUS is the actual fund itself from the due diligence that I have done. That's PSUS. And then we have PS, which is involved in the business side of it, the company itself, PS. So both names opened up, and yeah, not much volume. But today it takes a back seat to everything else that's happening. All right, that's the sticky note, who even knows about that. I actually wanted to go over and find TTV research for you here. Here it is, Adara's page. And, this is what we're going to do. She's going to have do you have the movers yet or no?
Implied moves?
Yeah.
They're up, so they'll be I think the post below that one.
Just because it's easier here it is. Okay. So this will give us a good idea of what we want to talk about. So thanks, Adara. Look at this, man. Every single earnings day, she is putting up these kind of things. So shout out to Adara, and especially nice graphics. I mean, a lot of us learn easier when we're looking at logos and graphics. So right here, I thought it would be Meta, Amazon. There's Microsoft right there. 6.5 for Microsoft. Google, out of the major names, that's going to be the least percentage mover there. It's actually funny that we think Ford and Google may move the same. Chipotle is going to be an interesting name as well, as I believe we saw a nice move. And let me just hold on a second. We'll go back to that. I just want to see, because get over here. We had a nice move today in Starbucks. Now, before I say that, okay, good. Because it went back in, it touched a hunch, then it came right back up. That was right away, right early. There's your $100 mark. And then boom, shakalaka, a nice upside move there, up into 107. I like Starbucks here at these levels. I mean, I've been supporting them for a long time. And my daughter and my wife are definitely big supporters. I don't know if it's a flex or not, but Marissa's the top tier of whatever you can be for Starbucks. So she's like, I get double points and I get all. So I was like, yeah, that's nice. On my dime. There it goes up to 107 goes Starbucks there. So the Katina family helping that one out. But the reason why we bring it up is because of CMG. Chipotle Mexican Grill right here. If retail's going to be kind of hot in the fast food space, again, Starbucks obviously very niche, so is CMG here. I can see these guys doing okay today. I know that they've had some worrisome moments, including way back in the day, salmonella and other things like that, and whether or not, how healthy and all these kind of things. Apparently, if you ask real nicely, I wonder if you still get double the guac over there. But, that's Chipotle Mexican Grill. That's going to be an exciting one to look at. I don't necessarily think we need to go long that name, but definitely a mover. I think that one may move the most. Today we have GM. Report that was last night or this morning, and it was a decent report But yet, as soon as the bell rang, they rang the bell of these guys, and yeah, all the way downside right now. So in what's been a pretty good performer, I heard Brendan mention the Equinox there. So as that gets, you know, EV starts talking about the Lyric, I believe, is a good Cadillac name for EV as well. So that's a General Motors. And then Ford has said, see you later to their suite of EVs right now, and has stopped producing the Ford F-150 Lightning. They're going to focus more on hybrid. So we'll hear about Ford's report later on today as well. So that should be an exciting move. And then honestly, man, we'll just have to wait to see. If you like buying your cars and selling them real quick, then Carvana might be something for you right now as well, as I believe is going to be a switch, if not soon, to a lot of EVs, man. And there it goes from $300 up to $400. There goes Carvana. So we'll have to see if that one can go. This is, in here, I'll just put it back up. Carvana is actually the biggest implied mover today. Of 12.
They don't count.
Nah, they don't. Yeah, I mean, that was, and then there's Chipotle. I didn't even notice Chipotle was 9, but I thought Chipotle had a good chance of probably beating that. Carvana probably does too. I would actually go under almost all of these names here, and then like under, all of that. I'm not sure.
Throw that up again.
Meta has the best shot. Meta, in my opinion.
No, I want to count all of them.
Well, I mean, I think Carvana is definitely a mover.
You can't count. You don't want to count.
The only thing is Carvana's split a couple of times. That shouldn't affect the overall implied move. But there's many more names than this, by the way. It's not just, I mean, here's all, we're going to go to Adair in a second. I just want to show you, there are more. Oh, we only have that many listed on here. Yeah, these are just all the big ones. You don't have to go anywhere, by the way. Join us all live here at 4 p.m.
We're turning around.
And we're just chilling until we don't, until we have to go, and that'd be 4:30 or so. Hopefully we get the last report. I think it was Microsoft was 4:20 or so coming out, so we'll wait for that, and hopefully they don't Zuckerberg us. Yeah, okay, and hopefully no Zuckerberg incidences again. All right, Adair, what you got for us now?
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting here that we have live earnings updates here on social media as well in TTV Research. So don't go anywhere. I'll be giving you the live numbers with Brendan. We'll also be getting live updates and reminders of who's reporting next on social media. So why be anywhere other than Trader TV Live and TTV Research? Let's talk about META, though. Wall Street Journal reporting that Meta is going to be running some servers on longer on memory shortage. They're going to be keeping some servers for longer due to a memory shortage. Vice president of the company saying in an internal memo that the company is dealing with a significant server supply deficit. Again, reported by Wall Street Journal, META, with a story about servers ahead of their earnings. Back to you.
Oh, where that was. Don't know if it has anything related, but Micron just took a bit of a right-hand turn to the downside. Didn't hear anything, didn't see anything. You can see Powell there, but it's got to be that story. I mean, I can't think of anything else that would cause this move to the downside in Micron. You just got about like $8 down on that headline. SNDK also moving to the downside. STX, Seagate, which had been, wow, Seagate was actually at the low of the day already. Well, you know what? It's still up 9%. Seagate, profit taking, all in context. I feel like you might see that tonight. Like I feel like if Amazon pops, I don't want to single out like Microsoft or anything, but I think if Amazon pops, it's popping into some overhead resistance and that all-time high, and I would question whether that one can hold. Little bit tentative about that. Like you're still, if you're 30-something times, the market doesn't like 30 times. You got to have a pretty strong print. So we'll see how strong that cloud growth is going to end up being, because that's the big metric. What are we looking for? For the market, we're looking for CapEx, but individually, I want to see you show me over 30% growth there with AWS. If it's in the 20s, I'm not sure that's going to cut it, and you might see a bit of a sell there. We're holding on to VWAP pretty nicely for SLV. I don't want to be flipping long. It's almost 330 though, and we're getting very close to the end of the day. Like oil's creeping back up to the high. That's the other thing worth noting. Oil futures are closed, but you're creeping right back up to the top. Hasn't really broken the downtrend. Still looking incredibly strong. So I'll stick on theme if we can lose VWAP and look for that to be the last opportunity. But yeah, thank you, Adair, for bringing that story, because the people were asking what was going on with Micron. Yeah. Right, and that's pretty much it. Still up 1.6%, but that's been selling off most of the day. It got the Seagate bump and never really recovered. Adara?
Last question being asked right now to Powell.
There it is.
Last question, Eva. Maybe it'll be, what is your favorite fast food? Who knows? I bet you it's going to be something a little wild. So we'll see what happens there with Jerome. We want to say a big thank you to him. You have done wonders for the portfolio. Thank you. Big Papa Pump right there. You have done amazing for everybody that's been long during his tenure.
Yeah, there's very few Fed chairs that you can say the opposite of.
I don't know. I haven't looked. I'm sure Dara has something up there.
Market generally goes up.
He would be, yeah. No, just to say, oh no, the ties. Yeah, the ties is another thing. No, just like how the market's moved based on different Fed chairs.
I was going to do a whole series on this, actually, now that Powell's gone. So it's going to take me some time to research, especially during Fed time. But I actually just wrote down a couple hours ago, Sean, this is going to be my next big infographic project. So a look at, like, A, how the market's moved. I have an infographic on that already. But B, like, what decisions in total did they make? Like, how many times did they hold rates? How many times did they cut? How many times did they raise? Is there any truth to the too late Powell thing? So I want to do a whole Fed share deep dive, actually.
Well, they say great minds think alike, so I'm not sure why you're thinking like mine there, Adara. But yeah, so far so good there as we continue to work it out. End the Fed. Get gone forever to JP Clown. Yeah, you must not be long. So that's all good. But yeah, look, I mean, he's been Mr. Too Late. But again, a lot of this talk has come from the president, who also has called like his right-hand man, Marco Rubio, Little Marco, and all these kind of things as well. So actually, one of the best Wikipedia websites of all time is the Powell, Donald Trump nickname one there. So that was actually real.
I actually think the last time we pulled it up live was on the Fed day.
Maybe.
I think it was the last Fed rate decision day because of the same topic, and we were going through lists.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with all that. I mean, it's all fun and games.
It's pretty funny.
It is entertaining.
It is.
Yeah, I don't want to call it. There are some negative names on there that you would never think a president would call somebody else, but we are in different
there's
times.
some doozies on that list
right now.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like I completely understand the event's now ended. He's gone. That was the last question.
Andre was really excited there. He's just like, he's gone.
It's one thing to not believe in the Federal Reserve System because you believe in sound money, but at the other end of this, you're talking about the markets. The way that the monetary system works globally, you can argue anything you want about what it means for world economies and inflation, all that, but it is very good for capital markets. Right, so it's what makes buy and hold work. I absolutely understand when there's arguments for end the Fed and what's happened since you've basically gone to all these, essentially a monopoly on money creation has gone to non-government entities. It hasn't been good for inflation. It hasn't actually been good for distribution of wealth. It's been really good for the stock market, and that's what we care about. So you got to lean into that at the end of the day. So I understand the sentiment, but just buy and hold. It's like, you know what? If you think it's a house of cards, but the house, it's like when you keep breaking the house, it's like, that one triangle just continues to stay every single time, and then it always builds itself back up. Then you just got to play the game. You got to play the game. It's pretty much that simple. Still a little bit of time till we get to the imbalances. Not really breaking down here. I just want to see something a bit more distinct. I don't like selling right above VWAP at this late in the day. I find if you've got buyers at VWAP pushing into the closing imbalances, then I don't want to fight against that. I'll wait till we get something off of that low or breaking through those lows, and then try to grab one last trade in there on SLV. Andy says, is Hood a good buy? If it's under $60, I definitely. Hood rebounded a little bit today. If it gets under $60, the next level I like on a monthly is about 50. I think Hood they're in a spot where the numbers are bad, and by the time they turn around, usually the stock's already made its bounce. So it's in it feels like it's in a DCA kind of moment here, where if you want to try to catch it, either you wait till it makes another bottom and can take the 50 period again, which is valid, but I think we have to wait at least a couple of days to see if that's going to happen. It did bounce today off of 70 even, but I don't know. I'm going to come in tomorrow probably looking again for a short opportunity, just for continuation on Robinhood, until it breaks the earnings top, which I'm going to call 74-ish, 73.5 to 74. If it doesn't break out above that, then it's like a short the pop situation until proven otherwise. SoFi, I feel, Yeah, I don't feel too much different about SoFi. I was going to try and make a more compelling case for SoFi, but when you see it down 14% and never really caught that bid off 16 the way you'd want it to, got to VWAP and failed, I'd put that in the same bucket. Like, show me that you can hold a low post earnings, and then you can go from there. Still at the low of the day. I'm a little surprised that Robinhood is off the lows better than SoFi.
Yeah.
Yeah, because SoFi was the one I wanted to dip by, and Robinhood, I was like, Robinhood's the short, SoFi dip by 16. Robinhood was the short, SoFi was, it held long enough that it was decent, but 14% down.
He's a problem.
Well, it's a problem, but you could at least point to the numbers with Robinhood. I don't think that you could do that as much with SoFi.
It just sucks because like the markets are at all-time highs, and so you would think that these names could get going as well, and I think they will. I mean, these names just go through their ebbs and flows. I mean, they're so new to the market, even though they're only like 5 years old or something like that, each stock.
Same thing that makes SoFi the abilities for SoFi in 2030 to be $100, or that's probably too far. It's like 2028, like $50, $60, is the same thing that means it could head to 10. You live with that with those kind of stuff.
Yeah, like, there's always going to be these, like if you want that 13 or 14% compounded, which I think is that's kind of the stage that I'm at right now with the way the portfolio is. That's why I'm buying a lot of indexes instead of stocks as a percentage. I still own like 30 stocks, but definitely trying to lean in and getting out of some names like you saw me do today with Intel, right? Like get into some cash and then, throw the money into the NASDAQ or something else. Like XBI, I like the XBI. Other plays like that as well. So, but hey, man, as long as we still got our hands and our wits about us, we've got a job for life with trading. So there it goes, man. 208.50, boom to the upside as it continues to go. There's another one. We're 3 for 3 here since we've been talking about our trades this afternoon. It's Apple. There goes Apple again. And maybe we're starting to top out a little bit here, right? So I don't know. We're starting to clear it out. It's 3:30 now. We've already talked about the risk into the close with some of these names. Let's just check out all the names that we're looking at there. Meta, yeah, buddy. This is one of the calls that I had. I'm in Meta. I mean, I'm in all these names. So there goes Meta up today, which is nice. I mean, we'd like to see it beating the market, but it's a nice little move as it keeps getting these dip buy opportunities there for Meta. So let's see if the market likes this release or not today for Meta. Google, Meta has more upside. Still, I think as far as the business is concerned, I think Google has the biggest moat around it. I mean, YouTube is a very profitable business for them now, as is many of the spots they're in, like cloud. Everything that Google's basically doing is pumping, and that's going to be
autonomous driving.
Yeah, Waymo. Yeah, good one there.
If you like Tesla, how do you hate on Google and Waymo?
Yeah, so Tesla has maybe a few different
But you
angles.
can win either way. You can win with LiDAR or you can win without if you own them both.
Yeah.
One of them is going to be gigantic, and if you own both stocks, I don't see how you can lose that bet. Because
if you own both stocks, yeah, I mean, I own Uber. I own all 3 of those stocks, but I do think Google's. I love it for Waymo, and
Uber has been beaten up way too much.
Uber is way down. Uber's like $74.
It's beaten up way too much.
Right there. Is there anything on the imbalances right here? No, not yet. Barrick, and then we have TD on there as well, and we've seen Pfizer make some moves over the last little while, so we can have a quick look at Pfizer there maybe. Oklo, yeah. SOX L had like 19 straight days. Or something like that.
Oklo got smoked today.
What are our thoughts on Carvana? I mean, we'd have to see. I mean, as far as the business is concerned, people still have money. I mean, we saw that with Visa today. Visa's starting to go higher. So I think if Carvana and the car business is still relatively strong, I don't know enough about people switching over. There's less drivers. I know that much because my son that just graduated university says he'll probably never drive. I don't think that's true. He takes Ubers everywhere, and definitely with the transit, depending on what big city you're in right now. But anyways, I think Carvana. Where's the 200 period? USO spiked. Okay, yeah, the market's making a little bit of a move down, which is why we're starting to cover, obviously. So 200 period moving average, we have a 12% implied move. So it's at 400, give it down $40, puts you right down here. So that's going to be a look. Yeah, I think a dip buy opportunity for Carvana on a miss. It's very hard to sit here and answer a question like that because what do we think Carvana's earnings are going to be? Thinking about it, I would think that this little surge here in oil is probably not going anywhere. And if people are looking to buy used Model 3s or Prius or whatever they're trying to buy, Carvana might be a decent spot to look for that. And it's also an easy way to flip your car over as well. So I think there's a good chance for Carvana to put up a number tonight, but I don't know. That's why we wait. And that's why we wait and see what exactly the situation is.
You know what I think is interesting? What I find interesting about Carvana is they get to report right after one squeeze, like the Avis squeeze just rounded down.
Right.
So like I guess there's always that will for the market to look for what is next. And Carvana is always among that short list of things that have the potential to give a squeeze move. It can't do it structurally like Avis. It was a structural thing. Nobody is soaking up 83% of the float of Carvana that I'm aware of. So I'm not thinking along those lines, but even like a mini one. Squeezing to the upside would be USO. Oil futures might have closed, but it just broke another high. It's unabated here on USO. Oh, I forgot to mention this during lunchtime. It was a little bit busy. Not really. Wasn't that busy. I did pick up some CVX. I said this morning that I was going to end up having to get this one not at the low on the dip buy, because you know what? Getting that Venezuela top, which was 168, was just not going to happen. But this just consolidated, broke the consolidation. I already own this thing in the long term, but I wanted to catch the dip on it, and maybe I'm a little bit, well, we didn't get the low, but I'm back into it. Well, I'm bought more of it. Adam James abroad. AMD too high, too fast. Next wave to 180 to 200 range. Mm-hmm. You know what? Have we not said too high, too fast about SanDisk? Have we not said too high, too fast about Intel? Have we not said too high, too fast about insert half a dozen other chip names? Micron at one point. Certainly you could say that with Seagate today. Every single time you think that it's dead, well, it just wakes right back up. Like, this looked like it was dead yesterday, did it not? It fell from 350. You were breaking down at the open. Looked like you were going to be testing 300. And then what happened? At the moment of absolute weakness, the dip buyers came in. Same thing happened today. It was falling apart at the open, looking like it was going to be a breakdown. It went red, and then bye. The trend is your friend till the end when it bends. When it bends, it can get nasty. Don't get me wrong. We saw Micron pull back 33%. After their earnings. But you know what Micron did after that? Right back to all-time highs.
Yeah.
Right back to all-time highs and through them. So even when these things pull back, it hasn't really stopped them from going. It just comes down to, like, do you like it? Sometimes you got to grit your teeth and just hold on. Iran says revenge for the martyred leader remains in place.
Oh, you mean Iran's not going to throw up the white towel?
What do they look like, Mick? It's not Mick over here.
Oh, in Punch-Out? Yeah.
Oh, throw the towel.
I like it.
Throw the towel, throw the towel.
Yeah, for Rocky, but I think it's the guy, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I think is Mick, too.
You know, there was a lot of hacks in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I like that game.
Basically, every single dude that you can beat every single one of them by looking at reactions of a different person in a crowd.
Weakness.
So all of
okay.
their,
I didn't know the crowd
like the exact moment that you counter or punch in Punch-Out was predicates like when this guy, look at the dude with the beard and he makes a move and that's when you punch. This dude in the glasses, like almost every single one of them apparently was telegraphed.
Gave a tell?
Yeah, I saw some video and I'm like, man, it would have been nice to know back in the day. We got Ben Kratzley.
Glass Joe. We got our own Glass Joe over here.
With Polymarket, Kalshi emerging. This is tough for DraftKings. They're in a really difficult spot. Like, you're not everywhere yet. I think it's going to have its day, but until it actually shows you know what, I can't even look at a daily there. I find when something's been downtrending long enough, you want to have a bigger look, because the base on this stock has been underneath $16, and the trend on the monthly still suggests down. Like, even when it bounces, shallow bounce, lower high, still heading lower. So it hasn't really gotten to like a load me up kind of level. How cheap is this thing? Is it even a spot?
No, I don't think it's that cheap.
No, I don't think it probably isn't. Loading. The forward's 20. Okay. So if they beat next Q, they could be in the teens, right? Like if you beat your next earnings report, you can be in the teens. And if it gets in the teens, then it kind of would be some kind of a weird value play off of support. But the trend is pretty distinct on a monthly. When it's still holding a monthly uptrend, then buying the dip has still been rewarded and fruitful. Has not been the case here. And competition isn't helping things either. I know there's been bad press about like poly market and some of the prediction markets. Tough one.
Tired. We do have those earnings today, so get ready to join us on the aftermarket show where we'll talk about all the names that you guys want us to, and we'll have the live reports are in front of you. We'll have live quotes, of course. The only place that's going to show you that, we'll show you live level 2s. We'll be able to see the liquidity, and we'll make a judgment call what the CapEx numbers look like and everything. We'll break it down. We'll have a dare on the 1s and 2s, of course, and then we'll be looking at some charts and trying to assess that. But wow, Bloom Energy today, 25%. I mean, this is a name that definitely got traders excited over the last little while. I mean, that little break right there of 170 on the daily, wow. Well, I guess it was 180, but what a move right there to the upside for Bloom Energy. What goes Bloom in the night? Energy, and there it goes up to 285 here today. It actually touched out at 290 early on when there was a lot of buyer exuberance right off the open. And then, of course, as per usual, which tends to happen there, yeah, bless you, on most times, fading right back into the 200 period moving average. And we'll just try to use this tomorrow, man. Like if we get some up and down moves, we'll see if we can respect the 200 period either in any of the major names that are reporting tonight. We did have a strong report from Visa as well. I got to be careful what I say. I mean, it was a good report, but I haven't been looking at a lot of these names. We've been busy with the Fed and looking at futures plays and whatnot. But yeah, Visa holding bid as well. 334, good little level there. Again, look at the exuberance right off the open and then the fade, right? And so this one doesn't get to the 200 period moving average. A nice little stop there at 384. And that's been the bottom, and now we're underneath everything now because VWAP is just a matter of, I mean, it's still really strong. I wouldn't consider this, you know, a win for the Bears today, even though we will end up under VWAP. I still think Visa, definitely the strong name there. Out of all the reports today, Bloom Energy, Visa, definitely kicking it up.
Well, Seagate too.
Yeah, Seagate, was that up now? Oh, 10? Yeah, that's a great one.
Seagate's
and
been
Starbucks is up.
Starbucks, did it hold 100?
There's definitely strength in this market, you know.
Yeah, STX is up 10%. They sold it off all day long, but obviously a bit of a sell there. Starbucks held $100. It's up 9%. I actually think the reaction on Starbucks was one of the best ones today. It's because it was double-barreled. It's not just that it gapped up. I said I wanted to see this hold $100, and then once the buyers can confirm that they're not going to give up $100 like nothing, it's got room to go. This has been so long here. I always talk about go to the higher time frame and forget about a daily chart sometimes. Like look at the monthly on this. Like it's been begging to find buyers up here for a while and make another run. You have the high from last year at 115. You have the high from 2023 at about that same price level. You have the lower high from 2021. Like you've been dying to make a run at these levels, and now that you've got the close above 100. Feels to me like just fill the gap in the next couple of days to 116. As long as we hold the low tomorrow, I'm going to write on my, I probably already have, oh, I do. Okay, never mind. I was going to write on my iPad to look for long on Starbucks, but I already had the condition met, and it's going to close looking like that. So, yeah, definitely want to do that. iMoto, hey, Neil, what do you think? SoFi down here, earnings dump, your bag holding? I'm always reluctant. Like, what is bag holding? This is the problem with we get questions like this all the time, and it's like, well, what does bag holding mean? Because you just said you have an average price of $16.81. So SoFi a few months ago was in the 30s, and along here, I wouldn't describe as bag holding. That's a bit weird of a way to frame that. Like, I would think bag holders would be in the 25 to 30 range. You're in at the highs and you're bag holding on the way down. So what that tells me is whatever you have, usually it just means you're not comfortable in your position. Like you're out too much. And if down from where you have it less than 10% when it's 50% off of its all-time highs, like if that's too much, you have to always identify risk. What's your own risk parameter on that one? Because, yeah, I think bag holders are at the 30 level. Where this thing bottoms out, after earnings, let the buyers come into it and settle. I said the same thing about Robinhood. I'll probably look continuation there too. This hasn't had the last positive green month. I'm not even going to count this one because it was a topping tail candle on SoFi. So your last positive green month was going back to, it looks like August, or not, September of last year. And then you had an indecision one in October, and it's been all red ever since. The good news is, well, it might be slowing down a little bit if it can hold on to the mid-teens. But I might have misspoke. I said in the chat 13 was the next level I was looking at. No, I think I meant 12 because I'm looking at the monthly chart. So I was trying to remember the chart in my head. No, it's the 12 level. That's where we made the bottoming tail wick here before. So the technical level says $12 on SoFi. Will I buy the dip on it? Yeah, but not yet. Not yet.
Well, it's got to get to 12 first, and I think it might.
Well, the question was...
I like your strategy of just sitting there, because if it gets there, then you don't have to worry about it. Like, a lot of the time for stocks to get to these horrible prices, kind of like, what has to hit the fan? And a lot of that time...
through before, though.
No, of course, but a lot of the time you don't want to be sitting there. But I think if it comes down that much, 12 would be, it's high as $32. So that $12.
No, but actually, to that point, one of the reasons why I believe if you like something, just sit there, because one of my picks for the year and the one that's in the competition, it's weird, but the one that's in the competition the worst for me is the one in my personal account that I made the most money on, but for the specific reason that when I bought it, it went parabolic, and I was sitting on the offer and got swept up when AVAV made this crazy high. And then guess what happens if you don't get anything out, or if you hold through a support level, you get absolutely rinsed. I'm still waiting to get back into this sucker. But it's still going down. Like, where's the trend break? Where is the 50-period hold? It hasn't sniffed the 50-period in forever. Adam James abroad, can I rewind and buy 45K of SanDisk, not crap SoFi? Well, if you're going back in time, then whatever you do when you go back in time, you're either shorting Avis at the top or you're going long Avis at the bottom. That's the point. if you have a time machine, like, what would you do outside of that in the last couple of weeks?
I wish we could have bought SanDisk. If you had bought SanDisk a year ago with that $45,000, you would be retired and have no reason to trade or even to do, well, you'd be trading.
10 bagger?
No, more than that, SanDisk.
Oh, you said last year.
Yeah, I was saying at this time last year.
Oh, last year. I was thinking at the beginning of this year.
No, at this time last year, man, this was a $39 stock.
I'm thinking the 10 bagger.
You would be absolutely retired and have nothing to do. So maybe thankfully you didn't do that, because then you would be bored. But yeah, congratulations to anybody that was smart enough to do that, either on Western Digital or SNDK or anything like that, man. That's what I'm saying about the stock market being just this crazy wealth generator and giving people generational wealth. And it's because there are people that have sort of that horse sense to be able to do things like that and take that long, right? I mean, there's many examples of Bitcoin millionaires, billionaires, in fact, made because Bitcoin went from $0 to $100,000 in 15 years, So that's something that could happen to SanDisk and already has. And like, people will say, well, you're never going to see another Bitcoin. But yeah, this was, in 1 year, this is what happened to this stock. So I would say watch out now. And NVIDIA too, like getting long NVIDIA at $30. I could go back and look to see what the very first time, remember, I'm sort of a disciple of Kramer a little bit, and he's been pumping NVIDIA since, I think it was AMD since $2 for sure. And names like that with NVIDIA. So if you stick with it and you got good names in the portfolio, then you are sort of stone cold chilling.
So before we go to Adara, we were live on this show a few years back, and like Biogen was going absolutely crazy. And we were thinking out loud, and it was like, oh, Biogen, they have this Alzheimer's drug, but you know what? If you pay for Eli Lilly's Alzheimer's drug, you get a better pipeline with Eli Lilly, and it's a safer play. And then Eli Lilly happens to crack the code on GLPs. When it was just like comparing them, and it's like, well, this one's better in the overall space. If you want to buy the space, buy the better stock, and then it absolutely goes ham. So it is about just sort of grip it and rip it. Right, like find something in the strike zone, and hopefully don't chase. Adara?
Yeah, go Lilly for one. They have earnings tomorrow. I'm excited. But I actually wanted to mention here,
definitely want Eli Lilly
just
to moon.
it's kind of a fun fact about Jim Cramer's love of NVIDIA. I read his dog is named NVIDIA, and I read that on CNBC, which is where he's employed.
That dog passed away.
Oh, sorry, R.I.P. NVIDIA.
I'm sure lived a great
Yeah. He's I have his most recent book. Well, I have the audiobook. I don't read books. But I have the audiobook there, and I have not even halfway through it. All right, if you were a millionaire, you were able to throw, if you were a millionaire, okay, and able to throw out 10K worth of play money on puts or calls, which is the Meg 7. Yeah, I would go a call on Meta, so that would be mine there. I really like Meta. I think that's, I don't know if I would do, like I said, I'm not sure there's going to be an outside.
But you just said, but if you think that every single one is going to be under the moon,
that's
a loss, and you do none. You do none.
Yeah, I was literally
going to sell options.
Exactly. So that's what I was going to say. I think they're all going to be underneath, but I would just say I think the one that beats is going to be the most aggressive one is going to be Meta. So I would say Meta, but I definitely wouldn't buy. I mean, what day is it today? Wednesday. You know, you might want to get Fridays or even next Friday so that you can give it some time to work because you know we've seen dramatic moves and then buy ups or whatever on the way up and down. We've seen all these names, and we can just go back to last time, you know, where these names came out pretty hot and then tanked, or pretty bad and made it all the way back up. Today's interesting because we're almost getting SoFi and Robinhood just kept going down the whole time, and Bloom kind of kept on going up. So
and Starbucks.
And Starbucks started going to, well, Starbucks went down to $100 first. So they came to 105, down to 100, and then straight back up. So, but today, you know, some of those names go like that. I don't think that'll be like that tomorrow. There'll be initial reaction and then upside there. So I would be Meta. I don't know which of the four you would take.
I don't want any of them to be. Like, I think you sell. Like I'd rather play that Microsoft is inside. If that makes sense. Like Microsoft is in. It's been in a tight range. I feel like that's the one that typically has a smaller move than expected. And what did we say this was? 5.5?
Yeah, they're both 5.5. The imbalances are now out.
Oh, imbalances, sorry, 350.
So we've been clearing out of all of our positions as we go, but now the imbalances are out. So we got WBD as a sell, Warner Brothers, Ethereum, and BMNR both buys. So Tom Lee trying to rally the troops. Other than that, man, there's NVIDIA with a sell. I'm just going to get out of all of these trades. I mean, I don't really have much going on anymore. All right, Apple will cancel our offers. We'll push offer enter, see what winds up happening there. But yeah, Apple trying to make my day right now, but we're already out of it. So Apple, nice little call there. We'll see what winds up happening, but we're into nothing. Just a little bit in Apple and a little bit of NVIDIA, and those are what those imbalances look like.
Yeah, I'd say I looked at BMNR. 1.6, slight move. It moved about 7 or 8 cents, so that's not a big enough reaction. Warner Brothers, that's a deal, so ignore that. Well, you can do whatever you want. I would ignore it. ETHA, 1.6 million imbalance on ETHA, and it moves 3 cents. So that literally could care less. But it makes sense. There's a buy imbalance on both of them. They're related. Intel with a 1.1 million buy imbalance, that just took out the high again. Almost at 95. I don't want to sell. It gets to $100. If it breaks 95, that's effectively at 100. The other thing about Intel is remember the bottom was 19? It was 19 to 55. Like you're talking about, like that was only a $40 range, effectively. I mean, just underneath that. It just broke that today. Like from the low to the prior high, it broke that out today, the measure move when it took out 91. So it's now in that range where, like, mathematically, usually if you're in off of a hard bottom like that, like once it puts in a top, to me, this is probably a take profit zone, but if it gets to $100, we'll see. I feel like you could see that $100 test there tomorrow on Intel. Unbelievable day for them, up 11%. CoreWeave with a good day too, but I think Intel takes the cake. Because CoreWeave, you expect to move like that most days. Intel, you do not. So I'm calling nothing burger on both of ETHA and BMNR. I know I usually look at BMNR, but not today.
Okay, yeah, BMNR, good levels. We got out of Apple, we got out of NVIDIA. I mean, whether or not these stocks moon or not from here, we had 5% left on both, and I think we did a good job of explaining all of that. But yeah, let's just go into the close here. It's Meta time. Everything's pulling back a little bit, so I'll watch out for Meta, see what their reaction is. See what's going on with Google here tomorrow as well. Should be a good play for Google, I would think. up right now. That's what that's doing. You know what we haven't talked about all afternoon was Tesla. I know obviously they're not reporting, so we can have a quick look at Tesla. Down 1%. Did have a good move earlier. It stopped at 375, back into 372. And I think we gave some good advices on this one as well, because we got a question about what to do with Tesla. And I said, well, hey, man, if you can get down into this 370 area and see if we hold, maybe that is a little bit of a move higher there. And it does hold 370. So that's the low there today. So anybody looking at Tesla in your own portfolio, watch out for that break of 370, which could happen tomorrow, especially if we get some of those CapEx worries there today. But now just 7 minutes away from the big ones. The NASDAQ right here on the triple Qs will go out near all-time highs. It won't be like that tomorrow. You'll see a decent move, I would assume, in the NASDAQ with 4 big names coming through. So 664 or so is the high for the NASDAQ, and we'll just got to wait to see when that comes through, and it looks like it's going to be coming through pretty soon right now and just 5 minutes away, and I think it's 4 o'clock, almost right on the nose. We should get that report from at least 3 of them, and the later one, 4:20, I believe, is Microsoft. So Adara did post those all up.
One, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to I'll double check.
They're all coming through pretty quickly, and with it, we saw this yesterday. I don't think anybody trades these earnings.
Oh no, they're all right away actually.
But
they're all at 4. And then
somebody guessed so wrong on Robinhood. You could see it minutes before it was going into the report. Someone was buying up shares of Robinhood, and then it was rinsed. And the week I was telling Sean, the week that he was gone, there was a couple of earnings names as well, where if there was a weird volume spike before the report came out, it was wrong every single time. So watch out for those little head fakes that we'll see. It's probably a little bit different. Maybe people actually are more reasonable when it comes to these Mag 7 names, because you can get thrown around so badly here. Trading in the aftermarket on earnings before the print is suicide, in my opinion, unless you have inside information, in which case, don't go to jail.
The, like we had said already, these are the biggest names coming today, the biggest percentage of the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 coming through in just 5 minutes right now. Let's go check out on NVIDIA just to see what that's doing. We did get that call there on AMD calling potential move back to 200 was what was said there. So I don't know. We'll see about AMD. Another 4% added to that name today. So, okay, that's continuously moving higher there for AMD. So congratulations on anybody that's been able to ride that one to the high side there for Advanced Micro Devices. And the story of the day, shout out to Taylor in the chat, has been talking about Intel all day, and now it's up 12%, and gone is Intel. We got some out at 89. Now it's at 95. Huge move up there for Intel. And we're still in a boatload of Intel, and we'll see tomorrow. Will we get that 3-digit behind Intel? Just has to move 5% tomorrow, and we got 3 digits on this thing. So we'll see if that can come through as well. If we think that this is going to be a big to-do today, then maybe Intel does get going there. And then ARM, another name that's been back and forth, actually pretty quiet today, only up 1%. I was thinking it was going to be a little more dramatic than that, but ARM right now reaching out for another bid.
Watch out, because these hyperscalers can change everything tonight for all these chip names are going absolutely crazy. But you already saw what happened to Micron late in the day. Like Micron, well, let's just say it had a little bit of a nosedive. And that's how sensitive, look, the market came back, and it came back a little bit, but that's how sensitive some of these names are going to be, whether it's the memory names, whether it's going to be the GPU names, whether it's going to be just straight up anything related to AI. You do not want to hear, forget about all of them, if one of the hyperscalers says they're not growing their CapEx. That might be enough that we can lose some exuberance. We're actually not going to be, the ES is actually going to close red, believe it or not. And the NASDAQ is up 0.5%, but the ES, not a very good day overall for the S&P. Defense names that were weak. Boeing got shellacked today. Kind of a weird, deceptively strong
day. That is strange to see that.
Deceptively strong. Because usually on an update, when you feel strong and the NASDAQ is closing at the highs, I'm not expecting the SPY to be down, because most people, when they talk about the market, they're talking about the S&P 500. And might go green. Look at that, I jinxed it, and I think we're about to go green.
Yeah, Apple trying to do some heavy lifting here at the end of the day. We'll see if that one wants to continue to go high side. Apple, a decent stock today. iBit, a decent stock today. The Q's, decent stock today. There for the NASDAQ. We want to thank BetaPro. Eric Sloan came through and explained the product that they have over there at BetaPro. So thanks to Eric for coming through and helping us understand that. That was a good time. And yeah, the NASDAQ and another triple levered product there upside. All right, man, now we're just 2 minutes away, and they're all going to come real quick for us here at 4 p.m. So whenever Brendan and Adair are ready, we can kind of throw it back. We have less than 2 minutes right now. Microsoft going out at -1%. We'll have all the live quotes for you. We want to thank everybody for staying late with us one more time. And yeah, this is just the beginning of what's going to be an exciting half hour. Qualcomm also coming out. We don't maybe talk about them enough. They've had some big news lately as well. We saw Corning and that have big moves.
Not cool enough.
So we can wait to see if Qualcomm has a big move. It's Adara, it's Brendan. They're just behind us. We'll see you guys in a couple.
All right, welcome in. Yeah, we'll get you through to the close here before we get some of the fireworks coming through. I was just having a look at all these names that we are expecting to come through here this afternoon, including Meta already on its way to the downside in a pretty big way. Google not going to be too far behind it, I don't think, here as we head towards the close. A little bit of selling to wrap up the day. Red, if anyone's wondering, as far as the markets are concerned, red across the board. Not hugely, though. NASDAQ basically flat at this point, 0.07. The Dow, the worst off here, 0.62, about flat-ish for the S&P 500 to wrap up the day as well. Why don't we take a look at a few things that we're expecting here? I know you have plenty of visuals to back that up so far.
Yeah, and they're all coming out again here, being reposted on X leading up to each report. So just join us at TTV Research. Amazon, 4 p.m. here. They did have a 14% year-over-year increase in revenue last quarter. As we know, their CapEx, which is apparently going to be predominantly going to AWS, set the stock to the downside last quarter. Now we have our friend Mark Zuckerberg and Meta. Now we know last quarter here, revenue outlook above expectations here quite nicely for Q1. Another company here with CapEx, and they said the AI wave is just going to keep accelerating. So keep an eye here on Zuckerberg and friends. Last but not least, Sundar Pichai over here at Alphabet. We are expecting here $92.22 billion in revenue. We had year-over-year growth across most of the revenue segments, at least the major ones here that I can see. And again, CapEx here, $175 to $185 billion. They're guiding CapEx expected to ramp throughout the year, so maybe not too much spending in this first quarter. Qualcomm is out though. Adjusted earnings $285 versus $256 expected. Sales $10.598 billion, above estimates, barely above estimates of 10.593 billion. So we had a slight beat here on sales, just slightly better beat here on EPS for Qualcomm. They also announced an investor day scheduled for June 24th, and their guidance here weaker than expected for Q3 EPS. Sales guidance also weaker than expected. So Q3, bad guidance, Brendan.
More importantly, maybe just seeing Saudi Arabia has completely pulled their funding from Live Golf, Sean.
Yeah, I saw that. They were thinking about it. They've actually lost some money on that Live over the last
been a bit of a disaster.
Paying Phil Mickelson all that to couple.
All that money around.
Take that $500 million and get out of
It's
here.
like the hyperscalers.
Guys, we got Amazon here.
Amazon.
Let's get that.
Yeah, we got Amazon here, guys. So AMZN net sales up 17% year over year to $181.5 billion. I was seeing estimates of 177, so it looks like a beat. It's also, again, up year over year 17%. North American segment sales up 12% year over year. International segment sales up 19% year over year. AWS sales up 28% year over year. Operating income up year over year in general and then across their segments. So this is a good look here for AMZN. Let's take a look here at Microsoft, which we weren't expecting until 4:05. I'm not seeing that report out yet. We'll take a look here. Google, I already checked. I'll check Google again here for you guys. Meta, I'm seeing some guidance here kind of out of nowhere attached to a Amazon comment, but Meta looks like we're guiding Q2 revenue between $58 and $61 billion. META reporting $56.3 billion in revenue for Q1. Costs and expenses here coming in at $33.4 billion, so quite significant here. This apparently these numbers included a $8 billion tax benefit, income tax benefit for META.
Yeah, we did actually try to bounce there, but it's right back to lows on both Meta. I was just hearing. Yeah, I was just hearing Amazon as well, right back to the upside.
Amazon is now green and pressing through the highs. That is a monster reversal here on Amazon. It was down at 245. You've just bounced 10% off of the lows here on Amazon. Now Meta, if you could only do the same thing, that would be rather nice because Meta is languishing down here. But you know what? You're talking 5% down.
I mean, all these names.
It's not doom and gloom, but Microsoft is standing out. Right now. Microsoft was only upside. There hasn't been any sell. It's only a couple of points. Let's be real. Like we're up $15. That's about 4%. It's 2.5 because it was down over the day, but it's up about 4% here. So less than the measured move is kind of winning the day for all of these names. But Microsoft looking pretty strong. The number on Alphabet is laughable.
Hi.
Is that an EPS beat of 511 versus 262? Sweet Christmas.
Yeah, there goes Google, man. We love that Google.
Yeah.
262.
511 versus 262 that's a minor EPS beat, and they only like it for 3 or 4 points. That's a problem. Too price to perfection. These names are so strong. It feels like that number should give us.
Guys, we have more on Meta here as well. Go ahead.
So Meta here, beating estimates here for Q1, adjusted EPS 731, well above estimates of 678. Sales 56.3 billion, beating estimates of 55.49 billion. Guiding here, Q2 sales between 58 and 61 billion, as I mentioned earlier. Midpoint here is going to be basically right in line with analyst estimates, if my math is correct. Meta Platforms announcing average price per ad rose by 12% year over year, so nice increase for them. Google, Q1 services revenue here grew by 16% year over year. Google Cloud revenue is up 63% year over year. So Google, beyond that EPS beat, Neil, you have massive year over year growth in their revenue.
Yeah, all-time highs. Yeah, absolute monster here, guys, for Google right now.
Oh, Meta raised CapEx. Just seeing that come through. META raising their CapEx range from 115 to 135 billion, all the way up to 125 to 145 billion. They're citing anticipated higher component pricing.
More avocados for
data
everyone.
Center costs for META, which again, Brendan, if you missed it right before the close, there was a report came out saying that they don't even really have that much many servers right now. They're running low on servers, and yet apparently they're going to be significantly raising their CapEx.
I'm not even sure what they're spending this on.
I mean, how much is guacamole going?
That's good. Look, it's a double-edged sword, everybody. We are happy that Meta's continuing to spend because everybody owns some chip stocks and everyone wants this AI spending to continue, but that doesn't necessarily bode well for Meta in respect. But hold up, wait a minute.
Hold up.
63, Google Alphabet had 63% cloud growth.
Yep.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so I think
63.
they're winning. You know what I think actually winds up happening? I think actually Gemini folds into Anthropic.
Ooh.
They get rid of Gemini. They focus big time on their cloud. Everything from Gemini, everything from Anthropic runs through Google, I bet, at the end of the day. Google's cloud is an absolute monster. Their Google up to 360. Just checking back, Amazon lower right now, but battling. That looks like that'll be a flat trade there.
That is still gonna
for me on Amazon. Don't go to that screen there because I don't think that's right for me because none of my stuff is hooked up over here. Amazon there, and then we have the other one here, Meta. Meta getting crushed down to 625. So I think we were right that name was going to be one of the bigger movers there today. But Meta going the opposite way, as Brendan just mentioned, the price of guacamole and avocados here going up on that CapEx spend. So
they're the only one bigger than the expected move for now. It's still a little bit early. There's a lot of time for that to change, but it's one of these double-edged swords. For everything else in the market that's been holding us up, you wanted to see that CapEx spend continue. Just a quick channel check because the name that was moving around a lot at the close, Micron's not really doing much of anything. I wanted to see if you were going to get some sympathy with that CapEx. There was a slight spike up there on NVIDIA, I think, when the CapEx number came out, and then that's already giving it back up. So it's not really holding things together. If Alphabet doesn't hold on to these gains, what does this say about the state of the market? That we can't, if we're not pleased enough with the numbers.
It's just so hard to go out at all-time highs.
I know.
I don't know if it says anything, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just
hope
a strong market.
It's a great
strong stock. I mean, even NVIDIA, as you just mentioned, isn't really moving that much, and you would think on these numbers that it would have gone a little bit higher, but
there's probably so many orders just sitting out there as well.
We also haven't seen
remember Bloom Energy had like 20 billion in back orders or something? So I think that there's a lot of back order most likely happening. We don't even have a huge move in SanDisk or anything either right now. So it looks like we'll be, has Derek got something?
Derek has has more on Microsoft.
Sure.
I do. So oddly enough, I don't actually have their full report yet, and I'm not seeing really anyone talk about it in social media either. I'm just now seeing more on Microsoft. But EPS here, adjusted EPS, 427 above estimates of 406. Sales, 82.886 billion above estimates of 81.39 billion. That's a double beat. Dynamics 365 revenue up 22% year over year. Xbox content and services revenue down 5% year over year. Again, new Xbox CEO. So this could be significant, guys, for the future of that business, as small as it is. Cloud revenue above estimates, 54.5 billion versus 53.78 billion. You had Azure and other cloud services growing by 39% year over year. That's about what we expected. Again, this Azure growth staying in the high 30%. For whatever reason, a concern for Wall Street, but again, it's been pretty consistent. Cloud revenue for Microsoft up 19%, nowhere near the massive 63% year-over-year growth of Google, but not everybody can be Google. That's pretty crazy. Let's take a look quickly at Carvana as well, because CVNA is just driving higher, guys, towards that 450 level. But what did they report? 40% year-over-year growth in their retail units sold during the quarter, 187,000. Record Q1 net income, $405 million. Q1 highlights here. Why did they not mention their revenue very much? 6.432 billion. That is 52% year-over-year growth for Carvana. So I guess people are not too worried about Ernie Garcia and his father and their potential fraud anymore.
Clearly. I was just kind of trying to digest some of these numbers from Google, and it's just, I mean, 89.6 billion in services revenue. Sorry, 89.6 billion in services revenue. That's up from 88.1.
They're just winning. But apparently that's only worth 4%. And this is a problem. You just heard that number for Azure. 39-40% sounds really good. It is really good. But you know what it's not good compared to? 60. Because last I checked, 60 beats 40 every single time, and that's what Alphabet's showing you. They're the big.
Not in golf. Not in golf.
Oh, you're right. That is true. Well, you know what? In my world, if I 60 in golf, I'd retire immediately.
Yeah. That'll be the last time you ever played.
60 and a 9 if I play 9.
Ooh,
okay,
Ford raising guidance here.
Yeah, Ford is one of the best stocks in the whole market. No, I was gonna say Google a year ago today was $140. So that was the low, 147 back in April, 143. Last year, this quarter, we got low as 147, and right now you're at 364. Don't show my screen, man. It's not the right stock.
Here, no, you show my screen. I've got it up
okay,
right
good.
here.
You got it up over
there. You got $140 at that low. When it broke the channel upside, you could have been 50% late to the move and up 60%.
Yeah, part of the move was the that judge decision there, allowing them to, of course, expand their business with the anti-competition. So it's really nice to see Google starting to moon. But again, this is what I was saying about the stock market. It's not, investing is tough, but it's not rocket science. Google, it's not like we didn't know about Google a year ago today, right? They had a huge cloud business. They had Waymo, they had YouTube, they had everything. So the fact that it's up $200 from 147 up to 360 right now, no surprise that Google continues to work out. And the numbers are providing that as well. Looks like Meta will be the worst one, down to 630 right now, so they're down $30. I still think it's very important that we wait for the calls to come through, right? I mean, Zuckerberg's gonna have to justify. They've been the name that's slashed the most jobs here this last quarter, so we'll have to see if that can be justified. And then really what we're waiting for is, where's the money coming from? Like, these guys just keep on spending. We know they have a huge cash hoard, but are they actually gonna make any money?
Turn it into profit.
Yeah, like why are they, if you can't turn it around, they changed the name from FB, Facebook, over to Meta, then they scrapped Meta World, or whatever that thing was called. Sorry, not Meta World Peace there. Shout out to Ron Artest there coming through. But yeah, they got rid of the whole metaverse, and now we just wait to see what's going on with their most recent CapEx spend.
I wouldn't want to abject panic with them. I don't think that's remotely fair. But the comparisons, the money has a lot of places to go that's working. And it failed to 200, it's failing the 50 today. You have the opportunity to look at Alphabet off of a fantastic
We're just
report.
back to 2 weeks. It's only back to where it was 2 weeks ago.
You're up 15% from the local bottoms on Meta. You're up 15% from the local bottoms on Meta. I wouldn't be too freaking out over this.
But Microsoft turned red or no?
But
oh wow,
it's been yo-yo action in all these names. It's Google that is by far standing out. I don't know that I wouldn't be that happy either with some of the yo-yo on Amazon here, because Amazon can't make up its mind. We were in the 240s, It went green. It's threatening to go back into the red on the session here for Amazon. Unfortunately, the comparisons are going to get made here. And I think once, like, Amazon had reversed, and the second that Alphabet number came out for the cloud, it was like, no, you don't get to be up anymore because you got to be compared to them. So I think that's going to weigh a little bit on Microsoft and Amazon here. And it's nothing they did. It's what Google might have done to them.
Adair, did you go over the Ford numbers?
I just got them actually.
Yeah, because that is, as Brennan said,
it's a massive beat here, guys. Adjusted EPS 66 cents
What
versus
the?
19 expected. Revenue 43.3 versus 39.5 billion expected. Ford Blue revenue beating estimates 23.9 bill versus 21.74 bill expected. So yes, they did beat revenue, guys, on Ford Blue. Their EBIT on Ford Blue, a massive beat, nearly 2 billion versus the 500 million expected. That is a quadruple there for the expectations on that Ford Blue EBIT. Ford Pro revenue is going to be the only miss that I'm seeing here. Ford Pro revenue 14.7 billion versus 15.5 billion expected, but Ford Pro EBIT still up 29% year over year. Ford Model E revenue exactly in line here with estimates. Their guidance here forward for fiscal 2026 is going to be slightly higher than expected for their fiscal year EBIT. Ford Blue EBIT, they're going to be raising their guidance a bit. They kept their Ford Pro, Ford Model E EBIT guidance the same. So a little bit of guidance raise, but overall, this is like just a stunning report.
Randy will be shocked.
Yes, he will.
Well, he's always saying negative things about Ford.
I mean, that's Randy.
You know what? Ford, if we're being, it's up 6%.
He wants us all to buy Rivian over here.
It's still 10-15% from the high.
Microsoft's had a 10% move in the after hours.
Oh.
Microsoft went from 446 down now, bouncing off of 411 right now. So you're about 8% of a move here on Microsoft. So
well,
NASDAQ also, someone in the chat said NASDAQ's tanking. NASDAQ's back to where it was at 2 p.m.
Well, it's going down because Microsoft and Meta and Amazon are headed to the downside. We're only being held up by Google. It's like everyone got a sniff of the numbers from Alphabet that wasn't Alphabet, and then like Amazon was green in the moment. Microsoft was green. They're both heading lower now. Yeah. So now you're getting that slide back in, and the Qs are going to feel the brunt of it.
Tomorrow's going to be a disaster. If Google does not hold this,
we're done.
Tomorrow is going to be minus 3% on the NASDAQ. I'll be here shorting early.
The one thing to keep in mind here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Adara, I still haven't seen CapEx from anyone but Meta.
Yeah, well, as I was saying to you off camera, I don't really expect a CapEx update during the fiscal year unless there is a change to the CapEx.
Right.
So at least we're not seeing anybody lower their CapEx.
That said, though,
you wanted to be higher.
Last time around, we got it in the call on a couple of these.
On a couple of them, yes.
Versus the actual report when they dropped it. So there could be more fireworks to come at some point.
All these calls, what, 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30?
I'll check right now. Generally, it'll be 4:30 to 5. Give me a moment.
Google's going to turn red.
Amazon call, 5:30. Google call, 4:30. Meta call is
please let the Raptors
Meta call
win
5:30, and then last but not least, Microsoft call 5:30. So most of these are going to be 5:30.
This does not look good for.
So the only bet that I have right now is Raptors to win the series at plus 380 there, because I'm not feeling too good about any of these calls right now. Google almost went red there. Not almost. It bounced. There's all these crazy wicks. We're at 357. Google closed at 352. So we're
almost perfect report if they lose.
Let's go Cleveland. Okay, I see you
Who
over
said let's
there.
go?
TRS
Easy there,
strong.
TRS strong.
Take it easy on that one.
We're out of Toronto here, so you know how that's going to go.
Yeah.
We got to bet on them.
That's right.
No, but I'm much more concerned about the Mag 7 than I am about the Raptors tonight.
The other problem,
that's for sure.
I don't know. Still 9-point favorite for Cleveland. The other problem is this is not even options. Like tomorrow, when people start to position in due to options or maybe get liquidated out or something like that, we have to wait to see what winds up happening. Although, to your point before, the only one that's really moving is Meta. I mean, Google will go probably a couple percentage points. Microsoft, even though it had a complete reversal, still just a couple percentage points. And Amazon, kind of the same thing. So maybe it's not an options world that we're worried about.
Well, every one of these names has had at least a little bit of good before it was bad, with the distinct exception of Meta.
Yeah.
They sold Meta. Meta's still at the lows. There hasn't been a real bid here at any point yet.
Yeah, I believe you can still get in and out of options, I think, on the day expiries, but 4:15 or so. I was wondering if they're going to do options 24/5. I don't know. That should be interesting when that winds up happening. Imagine earnings days like this when the market is open, like NASDAQ's open, you have market makers involved in that. Like right now, these are just dark pools and, you know, traders like us, retail getting involved. When the big money steps in tomorrow morning, we should see a big flush, I would think, or maybe we buy the dips. What do we all think? Buying these dips?
Well, you know, actually, before we get to that, I have this feeling that if they went to 24 hours, like, would they not? They might consider halting stocks during earnings calls sometimes. I feel like you're going to get some moments where they would consider just think about the things that get said and who might know this is what's going to get said in the call and the timing of it. It would get really hairy if during an earnings call you have a regular market with big time whales in there. But
I don't think this is good for the show, but I do think that if one of the best things I heard was let's just report twice a year.
I like that idea.
You know, because then you're not basing right now it wouldn't be this whole panic. Like, oh my God, we missed. Like, what are we going to do? Like, if they are only reporting in June and December or whenever they choose, I think it's a little bit more stability for the market. We wouldn't be able to have as much fun as we're having right now, but I think the market and the stocks would appreciate that. By the way, Qualcomm at least bouncing off some of the lows.
They did good because the Qs are literally at the low.
Yeah.
Everything else.
0.8. I mean, it's not huge. It's 0.8.
Well, it's the fact that it was how the day ended. Remember, it was still a Fed day, and it was a Fed day where the anchor was to basically making higher lows and closing at the highs for the Qs. So you had this bit of a strength anchor, and you wanted to see some follow-up, and we got the exact opposite. And if the strongest name can't hold on, it's great that Qualcomm's catching a bid. It would be nice if that can go green. But I think everything's the wrong word. I think a lot rests on whether the last stallion here can hold up in the positive territory, and that'll be Alphabet. And it's really losing the bid. NVIDIA's at the low of the day. AMD was at the low of the day just now. Like they're all getting faded here.
Let me guess, it's Fabian on the camera right here. People are saying the cameraman's cooking over there. So he's got all the angles of all time.
Why we still have the ball camera
there with Fabian coming through.
All of the cameras.
You know the market is in trouble when we're saying here comes Qualcomm to save everybody. We were just like, Qualcomm might have not even made the
Someone's got to catch a bid.
Right there. So we have SoFi, a world of hurt, Robinhood, a world of hurt. These major four names problems as well. Dara, you got something over there?
Yeah, I actually have a new infographic that I just made because that's what we do here at TTV Research. This is an updated look at Microsoft's revenue and revenue growth per category. So let's pull it up. I will say off the top of my head, as I was kind of comparing this, pretty much all of these are at least down sequentially year over year in terms of the growth. So Microsoft Cloud RPO compared to last quarter, 99% growth is great, Brendan, but last quarter we had 110% growth. So that's kind of weird. Azure Cloud Services growth is better than last quarter, which was 38%. We come in at 40%. So again, guys, this infographic basically just shows a breakdown of its revenue in a fun little pie chart and then shows the year-over-year growth in a multitude of categories.
I just saw a funny graphic essentially highlighting that same thing, but it was comparing the margin of each division.
Oh, I saw that.
And it
on
was
Amazon?
just off the chart for AWS and everything else was basically nothing. So how's that NVIDIA trade?
Bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I turned around. I don't have access to it right now. We're long. I had one of my bids got filled up there, so we'll see what winds up happening with the NVIDIA. Compliance can come at me right now, as we're not supposed to be in positions at this time. What time is it anyways? 4:20. It's fine. So I think NVIDIA could be one of the beneficiaries, of course, of all of this. That's not why we're long.
Wait for the conference call.
It's just, I mean, we got that number from Meta, a little bit of a higher spend there. We heard how well the data center, Google's cloud was doing and things like that.
In my opinion, if Meta increased their CapEx spend, then at a bare minimum, I think it would be decently safe to say that Softy and Amazon aren't going down here. My guess is they're probably going to increase. And as a matter of fact, hey, guess what? Maybe we're
what's
still
going on with this NVIDIA position? Okay.
Alphabet just bounced $8 off the lows. Bounced off of VWAP. It's catching a bid. I wish I could tell you that Meta's catching a bid. They are absolutely not. Microsoft is catching a late bid here as well. Let me just get that one up for you. I'm fixated on Alphabet because I think that one's going to matter the most tomorrow. So a bit of a bid here on Softy at 410. Where is that level? Okay, it didn't get to the 50 period. That's one thing to look out for. Did we retrace off any key levels? Because when we sit down tomorrow morning, if you get some great levels that come in and get validated in, I don't want to call this a sell-off, but we'll call it a dip, get validated in this dip, then those are the places you want to look forward to. We didn't get to the 400 on Microsoft. We got to about 405 there as well. But you know what? We always preach about the 3-day rule, Brendan, and being calm about this. It's not doom and gloom. It's not the end of the world. Apple's going to have great numbers tomorrow, too. So we're going to get another good print from them tomorrow after the bell. If Apple well, whatever. Apple's going to have a good
No
quarter.
pressure, though, Apple. No pressure.
No, they'll have a good quarter. Right? You can't weigh them down for their CapEx spend. It's just a question of how the market's going to like it. And I think it's a vastly unfair comparison that you have basically these three massive cloud names. And I find the last few quarters, it's like if one blows out or one disappoints, they get measured against each other more than on their own merits. I think you could be seeing a little bit of that because it seemed as if Amazon and Microsoft were doing just fine until we saw how good Google was. Viking Therapeutics reported and they didn't even move. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah,
That thing usually goes double digits, no problem, and it's absolutely flat.
VKTX, okay.
All right, good place to leave it, I think. I mean, the market almost halfway back here from where we went out at 4 o'clock. So, yeah, a lot of things bouncing. Overall, downside action, I think the story of the day. But as we said, more to come tomorrow. SNDK, guys, thoughts quickly on SNDK tomorrow?
I think good. I think there's going to be a lot of traders that may wind up shorting that. Maybe there's a squeeze that happens into SNDK. I mean, it's been absolutely parabolic. I could go kind of both ways, thinking that maybe it is too heated up. But Micron has been pretty hot going forward. I don't know what you think about SNDK. I don't even know what the short float is.
They sold 30. Like Micron last earnings was insane, and it pulled back 30% before eventually getting back into highs. It feels like the healthy thing would be for SNDK to do something similar, but it just hasn't wanted to go.
I mean, I think we would have thought today also that everything would have beat and gone higher, and it looks like we'll go 1 for 4 on that kind of talk, with Google being the only one positive.
Yeah, and working its way back to highs right now. On the back of Seagate, I remember Seagate this morning, monster. We'll see.
Right.
I mean,
but
they're not
sold all
exactly
day.
the same, but
Seagate sold all day long.
Earnings, I mean, just purely earnings were stellar for Seagate. All right, we're back tomorrow with more fun and shenanigans after the close, including Apple,
Go forward.
Rivian.
Reddit and Rivian.
Rivian and Reddit. Tomorrow.
Okay, there we go.
Randy's two favorite things in the world.
That's actually you're right. I think about that one. Randy loves Reddit.
Randy does love Reddit.
And he loves Rivian.
Which does he love more? We have to ask him tomorrow. Rivian or Reddit?
It's probably Reddit.
I don't know. We'll find it out. All right, everybody.
Hi.
It's been a blast. Thank you, Brendan, Adara, Neil, everything, and thank you, everybody, for staying with us.
Ciao, guys.
Wow.